My sister's affair is getting out of hand. She's begging me not to tell her husband, but I don't care. Am I the a-hole?
Ooh, the question is, do I tell the husband?
Do I rock with my fam, my blood? I, female 30, caught my sister, female 40, cheating on her husband, male 49, with a guy, male 40. So this might complicate it way more.
I don't understand.
That's double damage because you're seeing your sister get boned and you're seeing your sister cheat on your husband. Just bleach my eyes at that point.
I was shocked because my sister and her husband are the epitome for love that never dies. Literally, they have been together for 15 years and they still look so much in love, the way they treat each other. I felt anger and despair because I love my brother-in-law as a big brother and he has been there for my sister when she has been at her worst mentally. He was there taking care of her without ever once complaining. Now that I found out, I confronted her and she tried to deny it. I told her that she was pathetic, and now I hope she's happy with herself. After her husband nursed her back to health, she is paying him back with cheating on him.
Yeah.
Not the best way to pay someone back.
Yeah, dude. Well, maybe she's like, now that I'm better and was so close to, I don't know, a mental breakdown or death, now I really want to live life.
Yeah, to the fullest. I told her I was going to expose her, and she was begging me and crying, telling me I didn't understand.
She's like, I already exposed myself to you. Do you need to expose me more?
Right? I can't handle double, triple exposure over here.
Double exposure?
Please don't hurt us. You will be hurting my husband more than you hurt me. It's the truth, and like, no.
His husband
Obviously.
her husband will definitely be hurt.
But should he continue to live a lie? Red pill, blue pill. After a few days, she asked to meet me. She looked like she was crying the whole time. She told me that she had been keeping her husband's secret, but she wanted to tell me and made me promise not to tell anyone. Her husband is impotent and he hasn't slept with her the majority of their relationship. I didn't believe her, so she showed me all the texts and emails she had with her husband and her therapist and her diary. He hasn't touched her for almost 12 years.
What? Whoa.
Her depression was because of it, and her back to health was because of this new guy. Okay, so her kind of like coming out of this like recent mental health crisis was this person that she's now sleeping with, apparently. She said that since she started sleeping with him, she has been happier, and by extension, her marriage and husband have been happier. I asked her why she doesn't just tell her husband. She said that she couldn't because she loves him and she couldn't hurt him. She's afraid he would be so lonely without her because he always said he had no one else in this world and he would die without her. Oh, man.
If you can't fulfill your partner's sexual desires, that I think is a issue in a relationship. And like the answer isn't cheating. The answer is talking about it and like setting up a situation that works for you both. If they haven't touched each other in 12 years, you know, like you got to get down. Like that is a human right. I don't know. Like I feel for her, but how she went about it is wrong. She should have told her husband.
She says, "Don't you see that we are all happy? Please don't hurt us." Now about the guy, she met him through work, and actually he is kind of a famous entrepreneur in our city.
Damn, that's even more difficult. He's like got it all.
His bank account and his penis is full. She showed me texts, etc. He is also married, but he has 3 children. And he has the same problem with his sexless marriage. Yesterday, she asked me to meet her. She was with him. The audacity. She looked totally broken and he looked smug and angry and he didn't even want to look at me. She asked me to think of all the people that would be hurt if this came out, and she said that they will end their affair and promise never to do it again. He got upset and said, or we could just tell everyone and stop hiding. And then she got angry and told him to shut up.
I think that's a great solution. I mean, I think that's what you should do. That is the right thing to do.
Literally, what do we have left? Like, you've already broken the trust of cheating. You might as well be honest from this point on out.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And maybe come to the conclusions you should have come to
before.
I don't know what to do. She said that she kept her husband's secret because he is embarrassed and he is very possessive and jealous. I have noticed that he is the jealous type, so he didn't agree to an open marriage.
Oh, so she already talked about it. And he's like, no, I don't want an open marriage. That's rough, dude. That's rough.
She swore it was over with this other guy too, and showed me texts where they had a huge fight because he actually thinks I should tell her husband so they could be together, but I don't know. He has given her a Cartier love ring that she still has. Riley, can you look up how much Cartier love rings are?
Yeah.
That's like really, it's an expensive brand, right?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure super expensive.
Yeah. Okay, so there's one rose gold diamonds. It's like 7,200.
Sheesh.
And that ring she still had on when I confronted her. She said she couldn't throw an expensive ring away, but that she will donate it. She wears it in a chain underneath her clothes. I'm sorry this is getting long, but I wanted to include all the details. Hope you can give me an honest judgment.
Wait, she's wearing the affair ring currently?
Yes.
That's crazy, dude.
Would I be the asshole if I told my sister's husband? I think this whole thing is wrong and the cheated parties need to know the truth, but it will hurt the brother-in-law. So,
Does it hurt him more to not know?
I think the big thing that's standing out to me here is there's still the unresolved issue of like the brother saying that like, I don't know if I can, live without you in my life. That's something that I feel like he needs to see a mental health professional. And we're kind of skating around
it's
that.
like if OP tells the guy, will he like endanger his life? Is that a possibility? I think if OP thinks that's a possibility, then he probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
The right thing to do is to tell the brother-in-law for sure.
And also from the devil's advocate POV, if they lived their lives, the brother-in-law never found out. Not that that should happen. I don't think that should happen. It's an interesting what if scenario.
Yeah. But it's like, are you comfortable living a lie?
Are you comfortable living a lie? Could you take that all the way to your grave?
And is OP comfortable, like living with that knowledge forever? It feels like the relationship is just like what doesn't work.
I just want to come on here and update everyone that I told my brother-in-law about the affair.
Woo! Okay. I think that's the right thing to do.
I have read all of your comments and thank you very much for the insight. I had to do what would make me sleep at night. I love my sister, but she must have known that I couldn't just live with the guilt. I have been cheated on by someone I loved, and I know how shitty and selfish you must be to cheat. I also know that if I could do it again, I would want to know this time too, because while the pain was enormous, I still feel lucky now that I found out. My sister has called me like 20 times, but I didn't answer. She texted me, "Do you feel any better right now? How could you do this to me? I loved you. You ruined my life." Girl. What?
I mean, you ruined your own life by cheating.
I didn't want to answer her. I wanted to answer her that she was the one who ruined her life, but I didn't answer her. My parents are shocked and angry, but not with me. Brother-in-law called and told them everything, and he talked about plans that maybe my sister and he will move back to his hometown. He is devastated and broken. I hope they can move on from this together or separately, it doesn't matter, but that they move on and find real happiness and not at the cost of other people like it is right now. So there is a final update.
I think OP did the right thing. The brother-in-law's like, let's move away from all of this craziness and try to start fresh. But I'm curious to hear like what happens to them next.
Update, I'm still getting a lot of messages about an update on my sister and her situation. I thank you for being so sympathetic and worried about my sister. I might have painted my brother-in-law to be abusive to my sister, and I regret that. I just wanted to be transparent as I could because they're not here to tell their side of the story, so I was trying to do my best to take in my sister and her husband's POV. They are fine. My brother-in-law is very hurt and destroyed, but he assured me that he wasn't angry with me and that I did the right thing. Truth hurts sometimes, is what he said. He's planning on taking a break from his work and maybe going back home for a while. My sister is fine and not hurt. She doesn't talk to me, and I get that, but she is not harmed in any way more than her heart. But let's face it, it was her own doing. And I think she knows that because that's what she told my parents. Her husband has suggested that they move back to his hometown because I don't think he can trust her staying in the same city as her lover. And as he said, he can't follow and spy on her all his life, but he is willing to forgive her because he loves her. My parents are very angry with my sister. They are not angry with me, however. The only thing they thought I could have done right differently is that I should have told them before I told my brother-in-law, because then they would have had their own way to make my sister admit what she's done to her husband. At least it would have come from her. But can you really expect OP to think that? Like, oh, my parents will be able to get my sister to tell the truth?
I might have to revise my previous answer, but let's finish up. But I have some thoughts.
As for her lover, I didn't know he was married, as I said in my previous post. I don't have the details, but I know that my brother-in-law has texted him and told him to keep away from his wife. I have been on both his and his wife's Instagram accounts, and it seems like the wife knows now. I don't know if she'll take him back or not with the way that he acted. The way he acted on our meeting, he didn't seem to care either way. Boy, I hope he doesn't have a prenup and she takes him for all he's got. That's all for today. I won't be making these frequent updates. If anything of significance happens, I will be updating it in the future, but right now I'm logging off.
I was thinking while you were reading, like, if I caught my sister cheating on her like husband or boyfriend or something, would I go in and like say something? I would definitely say something to her, depending on how close the relationship was, like that I had with the brother-in-law. If it was really close, I would say something. If it wasn't, I would just encourage my sister to say something.
Yeah, I definitely think there's like a line where it's like, okay, if you or you barely even know both of the people and have almost no connection, and then you find out, it's like, okay, well, like, you know, so where is that line, I guess, is the question. Honestly, I'm curious for everyone watching right now, like, A, what do you think that line is? And B, have you kind of come across your own scenario kind of similar where you're like, should I be the one to bring it or not? One thing I will say from earlier in the story, I don't think OP's wrong for not doing this, but if OP was really conflicted, then like maybe going to someone like your parents and being like, hey, here's the situation. Like, I am kind of at a loss of like what to do. Cause then it's like, hey, look, I'm still not like ruining your relationship, and you've already like, you're the one that messed up. So like, it's not wrong of me to tell the parents, and then at least you get some more insight or maybe some help on like how
doing that.
to approach.
It's a complex situation,
scenario.
dude. It's a complex situation. I think it just depends on how close you are to each of the people involved.
Yeah, 100%.
But let us know what you would do. Put your answers in the comments below. But you know what I want to do?
Ooh, what?
I want to get into this next story.
Feed it to me.
We'll get back to the story, but John, remember when you tortured me by making me export a 24-hour-long video?
Oh, the intern days. Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah.
But now, but the little piece that I love doing it for the people,
Yeah.
I've decided that we should release a 3-hour-long video every single day for them.
That's so generous of you, Riley.
I know that we do it once a week already on our YouTube channel, so
But it's not enough.
It's definitely not enough.
So you're telling me you're going to stay up all night exporting months worth of 3-hour videos?
Oh, not just me. It's going to be me, Keon, and Dakota. Not so good. But every single night, exporting 3-hour-long videos just for you guys.
Riley respects women. Only men will be exporting these.
That's right.
So if you want to go check them out, go to YouTube, search OK Storytime Compilations for daily 3-hour compilation videos. All right, let's get back to the story.
Am I the a-hole for being upset that I was uninvited to my sister's gender reveal because her boyfriend said so? And again, this is answering the question, when is a bad sibling relationship salvageable? And this comes from Lazy Cat Insomniac. And they say, I did a post on AIO, am I the hole? But my friend said I should also put it here. I'd first like to start off by saying we have no problems with his family, and until now, we thought they liked us as well. My sister, female 21, and her boyfriend, male 22, are due to have their baby in the beginning of December, and she's planning to have her gender reveal in the end of June. Her boyfriend was the first to say, I don't want to have a gender reveal, and went on to explain it's cringy and a waste of time and his money. Spoiler alert, my sister has paid for everything. I offered to make cake pops for her because I love to bake, and she said yes, and that she couldn't wait. However, it all came to a halt when my mom asked about our 2 aunties going. My sister said, of course, and was really happy, but then last night we got a call off her saying that her boyfriend's parents said they can't afford to buy food for us. It's a back garden party, bring anything you want.
Garden party.
Oh, which is like you bring whatever. It's kind of like a potluck.
Yeah, I think so. Garden party.
And that to tell us that we couldn't come because of that. Basically, like they couldn't come because they couldn't afford to buy food for us. That really upset Mom, who then asked if we could come for just the cannon and then we would leave. But apparently her boyfriend told his mom they had a cannon each and that my sister should pay for 2 gender reveals.
What?
So it's like one for his family, one for her family?
Because they can't. Not everyone can come to this?
But I think he's like forcing it that not everyone
Yeah,
can
no,
come.
I think he's saying like, no, you're not allowed to come to this.
I don't like this. I think he's being weird and gatekeepy.
Yeah, well, obviously he's like, oh, they can't come because
There's not going to be enough food. But it's like, it's a bring your own food
It's
thing.
a
Like,
bring,
I'm
yeah,
fine not eating.
specifically bring your own food.
And then he's like, can we just come for the cannon? He's like, oh, like, we're going to have our own cannon.
Oh, you'd have to buy another cannon because actually only they said in the when we bought it that only 5 people can watch the
it.
cannon.
Yeah. It's for a viewing party of 5.
Yeah.
Also, they said mum. Is this British? Do British people
Yeah, it's
do
garden
gender
party.
reveals with cannons?
I guess so.
That's crazy. Cannons?
Yeah.
Gender reveals have gone too far. Next thing they're going to be like gender bombs. Do they have those?
Like, what do you mean?
Like bombs? Like
They have bombs, yeah.
They have gender bombs?
I don't know.
Hmm. But what would be the point of that? Because by the time she has one with us, her family, his family would have posted the gender everywhere on social media. So it's like, yeah, you could only have a cannon go off once. I think is an age-old saying.
I've heard that one.
Hey, you only can have a cannon go off once. And well, unless you have multiple. Yeah, I think it's like once the gender reveal is out of the bag, I don't think you can do anything.
Once one person knows about the gender,
Then they're posting it everywhere. It's like an explosion. It's like a gender bomb.
Wow.
Sophia's giving me nothing right now.
I'm catching up, man.
His mother is standing her ground and still saying there is no room for my sister's family in their back garden. It's huge. But there's enough room for all their family, 17 people, and 4 of his friends, but none of her friends or family. My mother again said about just seeing the cannon go off, but we were told her boyfriend's mother said no again. I wonder who's this coming from. Is this coming from the boyfriend or the boyfriend's mother?
Ooh. Why would does the mother know the sister? Did they say that? Or does the mother know OP?
I don't think so. I think it's I think a lot of the communication has been just through the boyfriend,
I feel like it's the boyfriend, though.
which is a major red flag because I
Yeah.
feel like that's super controlling behavior.
Yeah, to not let your partner's sibling come to a gender, that's a big thing.
It should be both families. He's basically like, no, only my family can come.
Only one family can win.
Only one family can rule the gender reveal party.
One family to rule them all.
You have your cannons, we have ours, and we fight to the death. Release the gender bombs. And her boyfriend said gender reveals were a waste of time. Yeah. So
What?
yeah, dude, I don't get this at all.
It sounds like he just wants to punish her for having a gender reveal party.
So now we're at a standstill. And my mom is really upset because my sister planned and bought all the decorations with the idea of her family coming as well. And her boyfriend, who said gender reveals were a waste of time, has now invited more friends when really we all believe it's more of a family event. To be honest, I'm not bothered about going as I have a 2-month-old at home with me, and even said if I don't go, could mom and or our stepdad go and I'd babysit the boys. our younger brothers who are 13 and 11. And then I was told, guess what? You're not invited either.
Whoa.
Even though the day before she said I was, and it would be great for the sport. Heck, I even helped her plan the mood board to narrow the thing down for the party. The unfortunate thing is I know her boyfriend will use this party as an excuse to get drunk with his mates, then go out with them afterward, leaving my sister to clean up his parents' house while pregnant. And as usual, we will get a phone call on how upset she is with him. He sounds like a piece of work.
Sounds awful.
Unfortunately, due to a bad dating experience after breaking up with her boyfriend a few years ago, she has put off looking for anyone else, and she went back to her boyfriend. We worry she is never going to stand up to his family and end up with the baby at home by herself, with him not helping and only posing for pictures and family to make it look like he's helping. As he even said when she got pregnant, quote, I'm not going to be drinking for 6 weeks to support you, but after that, I'll be going out with my mates on weekends.
He's like, I can be a father for 6 weeks, but that's it.
I mean, how long can one be a father? Yeah. Who has that kind of stamina? I need to recharge. I need some R&R, babe.
You expect me to be a father for life?
How about a father for my bros? I am the dad of the friend group. What are they going to do without me?
Did you think about my friends? Because I don't think you did.
When my friends are drunk, they're basically like 5 giant toddlers.
They're infants.
They are infants with the strength of full-grown men.
Honestly, they need a father more than this baby.
Exactly. Who's going to be their father figure? I think little Jimmy is good with just you, but I need to be there for the boys.
My friend Tim's father walked out on him. I have to be there.
Yeah, and I walked in on him. So I have to be there. Because he's walked in his life.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway. However, that 6 weeks turned into 2, where he got so drunk he started a fight with her over the phone. And now this. I just feel he's being a bit narcissistic, and I would know how that goes, as I am a narcissist myself. I'm kidding. As my bio dad is a major narcissist.
Okay.
But really quick, what are we feeling about this whole story and OP?
Yeah.
This and OP's sister.
Yeah, they kind of suck.
Kind of suck. I mean, it sounds like he's terrible and she can't stand up for herself.
Yeah, it sounds like exactly.
Which is an unfortunate combo to have.
Yeah, it seems like she because they said she broke up with the OP sister broke up with this husband, right? Or boyfriend?
Broke up with...
Is he the husband now? No, he's the boyfriend still, right?
He's the boyfriend still, but they're having a kid together.
Yeah, broke up with him and then got back together, which, especially because it doesn't seem like it's a healthy relationship. It doesn't seem like she's able to stand up.
Yeah, and it feels, it's probably like she is like codependent and doesn't see another way out.
Yeah.
But we do have some relevant comments to close this out. So talk to your sister. Have her do the canon for your family the week prior. Have your own family party. Print pictures of that and have her display at their event to give them in a book as a gift for her. And then OP responds, I've tried. She said she doesn't want to upset his mom by doing that. Even our mom said that she would have all his family here, even though our garden is smaller, but my sister and her boyfriend's family refused. And then Harry WWC says, okay, does she really want to marry into this kind of crazy? Just asking. And OP responds, funny you should say that. She actually does want to. And he said marriage is a waste of time, but he wants to be with her and got her a promise ring. I don't get it, to be honest. And she doesn't seem to be hearing what we're telling her. Yeah, their sister is 21 and boyfriend is 22. Okay, so they're young. They're young.
That makes a little bit more sense. I mean, he still sucks, but the marriage stuff makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah. This is whack. But yeah, I this is like red flags on red flags on red flags right now. I mean, I feel like if they don't do something quick, they're going to be in a world of hurt.
A world of hurt.
Am I the a-hole for not wanting to pay my brother back?
Don't pay your brother back. You paid enough by being related to him.
Don't do it.
Just, I feel like
let him be homeless.
Yeah.
Kick him to the streets.
Kick him to the streets. I think spill his blood.
Wow. Well, this is the answer to the question. How do you maintain a good relationship with your siblings? I guess don't be siblings with Sam is the answer.
No, but spill it and then donate it on the black market, and then you'll have money.
Sure. This, by the way, guys, we're live every weekday at 3 p.m.
We are.
If you're watching this right now, not live, join us.
Join us.
Come over to YouTube. So this comes from Throwaway Am I the A-Hole 584, who says, my adopted niece, Chloe, 18 female, recently came out as gay. Dun, dun, dun. And my brother Will and his new girlfriend Rose don't accept it.
Wow, they can go spill their blood.
Truly. And well, we won't sell it.
We won't sell it, dude. We'll just stomp on it.
Take that.
We'll use it like a little slushy for vampires.
Oh, boy. Will kicked Chloe out, so she came to live with us. Will, again, the brother, then called me and said, of course, the drama queen, and hung up. Okay. The worst father ever. Hang up.
Wow.
My husband was furious and banned Will from our home. Things got worse when Will showed up and told Chloe, you're not my daughter. I don't care. Oh, my God.
That's not very nice.
No, it is not. Wow.
Yeah.
Stand your ground, Sam. Dude, taking a stand.
Hot button opinions right here.
He then turned to my husband and me and threatened to sue us for the 20 grand my husband borrowed from him to start a business. I told him we were planning on paying it back, but Will snapped, you've been saying that for 5 years, but if you don't want to do this, be prepared.
But if you want to do this,
be prepared. 116 IQ over here. My husband replied, we're barely getting by. And Will shot back, then don't borrow money you don't have.
Whoa. That
and left.
Is, I feel like man's going through something.
Dude, this guy sucks rocks.
Yeah. Sucks rocks. And has adopted the IQ of them.
That is true.
10 IQ move.
Oh my God. Now I'm pissed because the whole family knows about it. The whole family knows about this, and it's causing a split. What is happening?
What did you say, John?
What is happening?
Spilt.
And my brain fog is gone. What is happening? Many of them are telling me that I should not contact and not pay the money, and I'm torn. We do have relevant comments, but let's take a really quick pit stop here.
Pay or nah?
Yeah, what or not?
Pay or not?
Pay or not, dude. Well, yeah, I would say
if you borrow money, like you should pay back.
And I'm guessing that they don't have a contract in place, and it was like a family type borrow where it's like, oh, they just send the money.
Yeah.
There's no contract, and it's all verbal, and like that puts it, I feel like, in the brother Will's favor because he's like, you know, he's the one out the 20 grand.
Yeah.
So I imagine they could go to court and he might be. Now, obviously, it's for the worst reason ever. And he would probably try to make it seem unassociated.
I don't think I think you still make an effort to pay back, but I don't think you have to pay immediately in the way that this person's asking.
No. And he literally sucks.
Rocks.
Like it mind-bogglingly insane. You literally throw away your own child over your bigotry. It is.
And then try to collect on
and
money
then
you lent.
it's all because of this. Like
because of the homophobia.
Like he wasn't doing it before.
Yeah. But I feel like a general rule of thumb is like don't lend money to family that you need.
Yeah. Or want to see return.
Want to see
back
return.
to you.
So big mistake from the homophobic person. Should have thought about that.
Another mistake.
Yeah,
He's racking them up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So the relevant comments say, info, did your husband ever do the business? OP said he did not. He said it got too hard. Ooh, that puts them in a precarious position for like if Will, the brother, does.
Yeah, wait, so what did they do with the money? They just took it?
I guess so. Oh. He decided to take us on a trip to Disneyland.
That's pretty messed up.
Morally, with Chloe and with this whole situation, like they are in the right, but they should have just given back all of the extra money they hadn't spent on the business. That's a no.
How much is I guess,
brainer.
dude, but a trip to Disneyland can get expensive, dude.
Yeah, but just don't go to Disneyland.
But they already went.
Yeah, I know. They're screwed.
They're screwed, dude.
Yeah, it sucks. Someone replied this. This is rage bait, right? Right? Who spends $20K on a business trip instead of using it for something useful? If it was so hard, then they should have returned the money. Sounds like they had no intention on paying the money from the start. What business isn't hard when you're starting it? Definitely rage bait. Oh, God. Opie replies, no, it happened. My brother doesn't know. Wait.
It's not rage bait. It did happen.
Yeah.
My brother
doesn't know about the Disneyland trip?
Yeah. I think so.
That doesn't make it any better. That makes it worse, if anything. It's like now you're hiding the fact that you did do it.
$20K on a Disneyland trip is insane.
Oh, it is. It is.
I think you said business trip, but it's a Disneyland trip.
Right. Who spends $20K on a Disney trip?
Yeah. It was $20K on a Disneyland trip.
Yeah.
That is, I don't even know how you do that.
It's you stay in the castle and
stay for
that's
2 weeks.
A few G's a night, a few grand a night.
If you stay in the castle,
yeah,
in in Florida,
I think they have essentially imagine the penthouse suite in the castle.
Yeah,
that is literally they only have one of those, and it's
but that's if you're doing the most
castle.
Expensive one ever. But if you get a normal one,
but maybe they didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how they spent 20. That's insane. I thought they were going to be we spent $5K on the Disney trip and then.
I feel like they spent most of it.
Yeah. And it sounds like they didn't spend any of it on the business too, which is the crazy part.
No, they didn't even start the business. I think everyone's the a-hole here.
Yeah. It's like there's two completely separate issues happening.
Yeah, exactly.
There's two completely separate issues happening here. So someone said $20K is way too much to just not pay back. OP responds, I know, but we don't have the money. Then why did you spend it? Then someone replies, I truly doubt that for 60 consecutive months you were unable to pay anything towards this debt. You owe it whether or not your brother is a poor parent.
Yeah, 5 years. 5 years
crazy.
They haven't paid anything.
That's crazy. OP responds, I was going to do it, but my husband said, hey, Will's not pressuring us, so don't worry about it. Then when Will started asking my husband what changed the subject. So basically, I think Will hadn't said anything, but now he's using it as this leverage,
right?
With the separate situation of his
he
daughter
probably didn't care until
he could use it to be.
Yeah, he wanted to use it as leverage. Also, Radish says my family just planned a trip in a Disneyland hotel with Oogie Boogie Bash tickets and airplane fare. Got 6 people for roughly $11K. How long was your family there? 5 days. So 10 days, easily $20K.
Yeah. Wow. It's been a week and a half, 2 weeks there. 20.
Wow, that's crazy.
20. Some commenter says, start paying it back. Also, get guardianship via the courts for the child so you can protect them from him. It's sucky, but must all be done. OP replies, she's 18. She's already gone, and he's told her she's got to the end of December to get her stuff. If not, it's going to be thrown away. A commenter says, what kind of agreement is there on the loan? A great question. Is there documentation and a payback schedule? You're not the a-hole for wanting to pay him back, but you would be the a-hole if you don't pay him back. If there's paperwork on the loan, he can sue you. OP says, there was paperwork and one of my friends was a witness. Another commenter says, do you work? OP says, I work 2 jobs and my husband was the one who was trying to bring Chloe in. And my brother said, y'all's already struggling without Chloe, so why bring her in to struggle more? OP left this comment by itself and replies, nope, here's the story. Our mother has cancer and the doctor told her to stop smoking, but she did. But then she kept doing it. Cancer got worse, and my brother originally said he didn't care. He was going to pay. Over the last couple of months, he started questioning, why am I paying if she's going to keep smoking?
Which is not the worst logic.
Yeah. Also,
why? I'm not gonna. If you're gonna keep trying, killing yourself, basically, why am I gonna?
If you won't stop.
Yeah. It's you can't do if you can't start the first part of the care, which is to quit smoking.
Yeah.
None of the other stuff is gonna work. So why do it?
Also, this is a third whole plot in the storyline that is just
I know. There's so many separate pieces. So you have. Maybe we should do a little TLDR.
Yes, quick TLDR. first, OP's niece came out as gay, and her father, OP's brother, was like, "Get out of my house. I hate you."
Yeah.
Being a homophobic bigot. Then he was like, they got a $20,000 loan, OP did, that they spent on a Disney trip. So
Crazy.
kind of separately from that, now the brother's like, "Yo, pay me my $20K back."
Because he was trying to OP's fan, like OP's like a immediate squad of people, like, so OP and their significant other was like, "Oh, we'll take in our niece."
Yeah, he's using it as leverage to be like evil, basically. But also he low-key is owed the money. And finally, OP's mom was like dying of cancer, kept smoking, and initially the brother was also bankrolling that, but then he was like, "I'm not going to keep bankrolling this because you won't even like stop smoking and like get your treatment."
So like the bad thing that the brother is doing is being homophobic, but those other things I kind of understand.
Yeah, like he is. I mean, they literally took the loan and didn't. The whole point of giving
the money,
the business loan, is you build a business in order to be able to pay it back with interest. That's the whole idea.
And like 5 years is a long time.
Yeah, with no payment, and not even like moving towards payment. Yeah.
And also no movement towards making the business.
So it's actually in reality totally separate from the first scenario of them taking in the niece, but they are the a-holes for not paying back there.
So I think like who's the a-hole in the homophobia case? The OP's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the a-hole in the paying back? OP.
Yep.
And who's the a-hole in the dying mom thing? Really,
I don't
just
even know if you can call her the a-hole, but it's just like, okay, I'm not going to help you.
Yeah. I feel like you can keep smoking, but I guess a-hole to her body.
Yeah. A commenter says, "Is Chloe still in school? If so, depending on the state, could OP theoretically sue for child support?" OP responds, "She got her GED. She said school was hard, and from top man." A lot of things are hard for this family.
Yeah.
And from talks with her, she doesn't want to work right now and take a couple months to understand her life. And my dad said she's basically going to be a freeloader. A commenter says, "Talk to a lawyer. If there's a legal obligation to pay back your brother, then you must try to abide by the terms of the loan, or you could have some legal problems. Normally, if there's no legal obligation, I'd say there's a moral obligation, and you don't borrow money you're not going to pay back. But in this case, I'm going to say, screw Will, spend every penny taking care of Chloe to give her a good home and a good future, not the a-hole." Low key, I'd have to like stew on it for a second, but I think that almost could have been a good FU, but they already spent the money on Disney. It's gone, so you can't do anything with it.
Fairy dust.
And then they conclude, not the a-hole. OP responds, final relevant comment, "It's getting to a point where Chloe might have to leave because we won't have enough money to take care of her, and I'm trying, but if my brother sues us, then I'm effed." We do have an update coming up, but yeah, I mean, we kind of just broke down. First case is homophobia. Will, the brother, is the a-hole. Second case, OP is the a-hole. And then the third case, grandma's a-hole to her own body. But my next question is, what should OP do now moving forward? Right? Because she's like, I don't even know if I have money.
I don't have the money. I mean, it's like, what if you don't have the money? What can you do?
Yeah, low key, I'd be like, I would probably sit down with Chloe, the niece, and be like, "Hey, maybe they're like, hey, we could literally only afford to give you like, I don't know, $200 a month or like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, here's what we can, like the most that we can do, and we're gonna do that, and like obviously like."
But
emotionally
the thing that's going to be hard is, so this is the tricky situation. If they keep the niece in their home, they will be sued by the brother.
Yes.
So it's like, and if they keep the niece in the home, they're going to have to support the niece in some way.
Yeah.
And so it's like basically double financial burden, which they can obviously not support.
Yeah.
So it's like, man,
they might have to sit her down and be like, we're going to find out all of the ways that we can support you, but it might not be financially.
Yeah.
That might be
because it's
going to
cripple them. It's going to cripple them.
Yeah. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
But you said there's an update to the story?
There is an update.
John, I had to take care of something like for like 3 minutes. which is a bathroom and a quick message to the other team, and then I'll be done.
Love that.
Then I can come back.
Let's do it. All right, guys, let's get into this update. So I called my dad and told him everything from the comments. He called a family meeting and it went badly.
Nothing is going good for him.
Yeah, everything is just going bad. My dad straight up said, Will, you're my son, but you're a piece of crap and what you're doing is disgusting. I hope Chloe never talks to you again. I know you're paying your mother's medical bills, but you know you're wrong. He then looked at me and said, but here's where Will is right. You had 5 years and you haven't paid one dime. Dude, I want to feel bad, but I don't. So here's what I'll say. You have until the end of December to pay Will back or I'm taking the house back.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but you took out a loan you had no intention of ever paying back. So now the dad, and we will get into the whiteboard, the dad owns their house. And they're going to, he's going to take it away.
Oh my gosh.
Unless they pay.
It's July.
It's July, dude. They literally have 5 months to make up 20 grand.
5 months, you said?
5, yeah.
Can you do the math on that?
No.
$4K a month. $4K a month.
Probably more. This is crazy. Why is the dad doing that? I guess that's his, he's kind of strong arming them and able to force them into paying something.
They got $20K before COVID.
Oh,
interest on that, buddy. Ooh.
Oh yeah, it's it's not worth. But they spent it all, so it doesn't even matter.
I know.
It inflated to zero, dude. Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know. I was totally on board. I was like, oh, here comes the dad. He's kind of gonna set everyone straight. You know what I mean? But then I'm like, why take away the house? The only thing I can think of is, I don't know, maybe chat, agree with dad, yes or no? Because I'm like, I get that he's trying to force them to pay back something, but this seems very intense. I feel that the offense that Will made was far greater, because disowning your child, to me, that's I don't know, you're kind of it's almost like a death in the family. It's just so severe.
Yeah.
So yeah, W dad or L dad, guys, let me know. I don't know. I don't think so. But anyways, my husband said this isn't right, and my dad replied, "Don't borrow money then if you have no intention of paying it back. You had 5 years." Will added, "I kept asking you, and you dodged it for 18 months." My husband said, "This is BS. I'm sorry, but your son's a jerk." My dad replied, "He can be a jerk, but what's BS is he gave you 20K for a business you didn't start and spent on vacations."
Ooh.
Which, that is BS. I'm sorry. If we were reading this story totally out on its own, I'd be like, oh yeah, of course. That is an a-hole move to do. And they're not even acknowledging or apologizing for it or planning to pay it back. Then my dad left and Will laughed at us, telling Chloe, "See you at Christmas. Oh wait, you probably won't have a home for Christmas," and walked out. Dude, that's mean. What? Chloe went on a walk and we haven't seen her for hours and I'm worried.
Oh my.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna look for an update, and then I'm gonna I'll grab the whiteboard, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do kind of a final breakdown and kind of discuss what's going on over here. So give me one sec.
Whoa, this family's wild. I just read a comment. So here's the baby situation. Chloe threw a party with Will's newborn in his house, and when he came back, the newborn was in the yard crying, and Will said he was tired of Chloe and her queer friends ruining his house. But he didn't say queer. He said the F.
Oh my god, dude.
Low key, all around this family's pretty
yeah, honestly, everyone
throwing a party, keeping the newborn and then the dad's remarks, and
we're gonna break it down, but I think just everyone is the a-hole here,
except for the dad, maybe.
Nah, dude, the dad, okay, so let's talk about it. So
put Chloe on there.
Yeah.
And just do circles. You don't have to do the whole key thing. He has a job and works as a guidance counselor. I think that's Will.
So, yeah, so the dad is the dad of OP and Will,
yep.
Because they're brother and sister. God, this one is actually really complicated now that I think about it. So I just think everyone's an a-hole here. So just walking through it. So like initially, Will kicked out Chloe, right? And he's a bigoted a-hole for that. OP and husband, okay? OP and husband got the $20K loan from Will, and they didn't pay it back. That's super a-hole move, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, my dollar signs are terrible.
No, that's great.
It's hard to write.
I think this is good.
Angle. And then Dad was setting everyone straight. He's like, Will, you are disgusting for kicking out your daughter. OP, you should never have OP and husband, you should have never taken out the $20K loan. But then he's like, I'm gonna kick you guys out of the house because it seems that the dad owns the house. If you don't come up with the 20 grand by December, which Riley did the math, it's like probably over $4 grand a month that they have to pay, which I doubt they have. And then he laughed to Chloe and was like, hey, you know, you're probably not gonna have a home next December because they're not gonna have the money. So it's like low key, not as bad as Will, but it's like you're also not helping the situation. So everyone is the a-hole.
Yeah. Everyone is a.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's it.
Crazy.
Point blank
Wow.
period.
Point blank period.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there you have it, folks. Also, a lot of people are saying W dad. I disagree now. I think that the dad did say and was setting them straight like initially, but taking the home away from OP, telling Chloe that she won't have a home after December.
Is OP a male or female?
I believe OP is the wife.
Okay.
And yeah, and she has her husband.
Okay, because I thought OP was a male and they were in a gay relationship, and then the brother disliked his
I don't
daughter
think so.
because
I feel like they would have said that if that was the
Gotcha.
case. Yeah, that's it. Everyone's the a-hole, I think. But guys, we're live right now. Did you know that? If you're watching this recorded, you can tap the profile and join us. Go to YouTube. Anyways. But Riley,
Yes.
do we have another story?
Dude, you bet your bottom dollar you do.
Oh my goodness. All righty, let's dive in. My sister wanted when the son she gave up for adoption reached out.
Oh.
Dude, that's pretty big.
How did you respond? Like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Beggars can't be choosers. That's kind of what we're dealing with. This is all to answer, how do you maintain a good relationship with your siblings? And by the way, you can join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. Do it if you're watching this recorded. This comes from Roxy Walker, who says, I, 51 male, have a younger half-sister, 35, who was born from my dad's second marriage. My parents divorced when I was 12, and afterwards, my dad moved to another state. I visited for major holidays and 6 weeks during the summer. I was almost 16 when she was born, and I remember celebrating her baptism, her first Christmas, first birthday, etc., etc. But by the time she was a teen, I was in my 20s, and I was living in the city, life all on my own, and my visits were rare. My dad had also gotten divorced from her mother when she was 12 years old, coincidentally the same age when my own parents got divorced. Dad just hits it's like the same way Leonardo DiCaprio hit 25, break up. He's like, as soon as my daughter from this marriage turns 12, leave the marriage.
Wow.
Oh my God. At that point, I only visited once or twice a year, if that. So like from 12 onwards, she would just see her sister like once or twice a year. Which actually, super slight side note, that was kind of the situation with my mom and her brother and her sister. My mom's brother, my uncle, is like 17 years older than her. So he was like going to college, like basically right after she was born.
I thought a 13-year difference was bad.
Yeah,
That's tough.
17.
That's like an adult.
Yeah.
Like that could be your mom, or that
Yes.
could be your dad.
Yep. Literally, he could have been like teen parent of her dad. It's kind of wild, right? Different. So they were half siblings though. So different.
Oh,
parents.
okay.
Still crazy. During one of those visits, my dad told me that my sister had been pregnant and he'd sent her to South America to have the baby, and it was put up for adoption.
Holy cow. I actually have a friend that got the reverse. He was in South America. The mom got pregnant, and then she got sent to America to have the kid and put up for adoption. I got the reverse situation. That's crazy. Sorry.
Yeah, this is kind of
that was very
wild.
specific.
Also crazy that you have the literal exact inverse scenario. What is going on?
I texted him happy birthday yesterday. No joke. That's wild. Well, his birthday's today. What? Sorry.
Happy birthday. We're
Jared.
just lost.
Happy birthday, Jared.
So he went on to say that by the time she realized she was pregnant, she had broken up with the father, who was 20 when she was 16. I know. And she was left to figure everything out. She was adamant about not wanting the baby, but she didn't want to terminate the pregnancy either. So the adoption was arranged. She had a son. He was visibly emotional, but believed it was the best decision at the time. I was stunned. I hadn't really seen her much during her teenage years. My dad's divorce from her mother was acrimonious, so that, coupled with the age difference, didn't leave much room for bonding. Over the years, we've spoken very little. She's met my children a few times over the years, but they don't really know each other. A few weeks ago, I received a letter from an attorney. It laid out how I was identified as a relative of the person they were representing, which put an ICU in the comments if you know who that mystery relative just might be. I immediately remembered what my father had told me, and everything clicked. I was asked if I would be comfortable with answering a few questions regarding my dad's side of the family. Before responding, I got in touch with my sister. She made it clear that I should ignore the letter and act as if I had never received it.
Oh.
Okay, I want to pause right there. This isn't the update, but I feel like this is a good thing to discuss real quick. And maybe we get a poll. Do we say something, yes or no? Very much think say something. And I'm kind of like, why does she not want to hear from her? Is she carrying the guilt? Is there some sort of legal ramifications?
I could see the guilt being the biggest thing.
Maybe it's the guilt.
Because with my friend's inverse thing, he went to therapy. He grew up very well. Like he figured it out.
He had like a good adopted family.
He had a great adopted.
Nice.
Well, those parents are now divorced, but it was
right.
relatively fun.
Yeah.
But he actually met his mom, his birth mom, and went to therapy together. And she was crying about like how his life was like so much guilt. How it was horrible, so bad. But he was just sitting there like he's just like me. He's goofy. Yeah, he's like Daniel, my buddy Daniel. He's just like we're a good trio. He's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. There's nothing to be sad about. I forgive you. It's okay. Yeah, because he like low key was he adopted? He was adopted at birth. Mm-hmm. So his whole life was probably like he had like it seems like a much better surrounding all around lifestyle. Yeah. Growing up and didn't even really know that he was adopted.
Yeah. It didn't. It's like, how can you? It's like kind of almost a little bit similar to how your grandpa passes away before you're born, and you're like, how can I be sad about it? I have like no bond with them. True. You know what I mean?
He also had a black brother, so I think he did kind of get an idea of like that he was adopted.
Oh yeah, well maybe he knew he was adopted. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that he wasn't aware that he was adopted, but more so that it didn't feel out of line of a healthy household growing up. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay, I see.
Am I the a-hole for calling the cops on my sister after she snuck shellfish in my food?
I mean, what if you're allergic?
That is bad. Probably what has happened here. Like Riley. But this comes from Rude Disaster 1658, who says, I've posted this in other subs, but it keeps getting removed, so I'll try it one last time. I, 21 female, and my sister, 23 female, have never had any issues until last week. She and her husband, 23 male, had invited me over for lunch, which is normal for us. I have a severe shellfish allergy. Even touching it makes me extremely itchy, and my sister is completely aware of this and has been since we were children. When I got to their house, she said that food was already finished and in the fridge. She claimed that it was just a tuna pasta, and yes, I can eat tuna as many other fish, just nothing with a shell. So weird that a shell is the thing that makes.
I feel like that's weird.
I feel like someone's like, what do you think about how much money do you make? Like it's a very invasive like TikTok man on the street interview. Yeah. Yeah, you agree. Oh my God. After she finished cleaning up, we had a short conversation about what's been happening in our lives since it's been a while since we'd seen each other. I get the strange feeling from her, but just brushed it off as I was extremely tired that day. She grabbed the food out of the fridge and served it for me, giving me a small bowl in case I don't like it. I couldn't smell much of it, and from what I could smell, I just assumed it was fish. But when I took a bite, I almost immediately felt my throat burning. I was coughing and grabbing my throat, and her husband kept asking me if I was choking.
No.
Yeah, dude, this is crazy. My sister turned to me panicking and said, I thought you were exaggerating. No. Oh my God. An ambulance was called and I was rushed to the hospital. I was thankfully okay, but they made me stay to be monitored for the next 2 days. She was hospitalized for 2 days because of this.
Honestly, the ambulance is in on the joke. It's one big conspiracy.
It's just a prank, bro. That is what is happening.
Everyone's exaggerating.
Everyone's exaggerating. God, it was just a prank. Imagine everyone gaslit. Oh my God.
Dude, there are pranks like that and they are concerning.
Yeah, Libby Liz, what's wrong with your sister? Literally, like you've known since childhood. Why would you give someone anything they say they're allergic to? Why would you feed anyone unless they explicitly told you, oh, it's fine, it's not that bad, give it to me?
To see if they're telling the truth, dude. They could be exaggerating. How will you know?
You never know if they're exaggerating.
Yeah,
dude, you know what the real crime is here? Exaggeration.
Yeah. Too many people saying literally.
That is the real crime here. But I digress. My sister and brother-in-law had tried to visit me, but I told her to get out. She kept apologizing and refusing to leave. Bro, get a clue. I told her that I'll be calling the police on her for what she'd done, as it's literally attempted murder, and she lost it. More exaggeration.
I mean, is it literally? It kind of is literally attempted murder.
Actually, I think it is because of her allergies, the severity of her allergy. Totally.
Or at least manslaughter, right? Like manslaughter by shellfish.
Yeah. Well, I think honestly, because she knew, maybe it is attempted murder, technically, because manslaughter is a complete accident, whereas like there's some sort of premeditated knowledge of like.
Well, she thought she was exaggerating.
Oh, right. How could I forget?
I didn't know. I thought you were exaggerating when you said you were allergic to being stabbed.
Dude, exaggeration is just the key to getting out of jail. Yeah. She said, don't cheat. I thought you were exaggerating.
I thought this was an open relationship.
When you said it's a closed relationship, I thought you were exaggerating, and that it really means it's like
there's
closed,
like one or two people that we can open it up
to. Not your parents. You know, I thought that was the exaggeration. Word of the day is exaggeration. Okay, let's get back to this exaggeration of a story here. So she kept screaming at me saying, I know you're faking this. You always act like you're allergic to shellfish, so I wanted to test you. My God, I had been pressing the call button for the nurse, but they'd heard her regardless and asked me if I wanted her wanted them removed. I said yes. I explained the whole situation to her and the hospital security, and eventually decided with the help of the nurse and the security guards, I would file a report against her. My mother is saying that I'm overreacting and that I should have just cut contact, but I don't know anymore. Also, when I was a young child, my sister had witnessed me have a severe reaction and went to the hospital where I underwent treatment. She was also there when I was informed I had a shellfish allergy. She was literally there when she learned she had it.
But John, you forget the doctors.
They were exaggerating, dude. They were like, yo, like this could kill you. And it's like, man, stop exaggerating, man. Like
everyone knows that doctors biggest exaggerators. They all go to improv too, dude, and they're always doing bits like, they're all like, have cancer.
They're all like, you have a year to live. Stop exaggerating. I got like 10 good ones.
Yeah, I got 70.
Oh my God. You may be well wondering why I never had an EpiPen on me, and that's because I didn't feel I needed to, as she was my sister. Dude, she didn't want to exaggerate. and have an EpiPen. That's exaggeration right
Yeah,
there.
come
So
on.
she didn't exaggerate in that example. But OP says, am I the a-hole? So the question is, am I the a-hole for filing the police report against my sister because she like intentionally fed me shellfish I'm deathly allergic to?
I mean,
Talk to me.
I don't think so. I mean, what if she strikes again?
That's true. Honestly, yeah, it's kind of, I given her response of like, I thought you were exaggerating. Like,
She was literally at the doctor's office.
dude, she's seen her be hospitalized from shellfish before. Like, what else do you need? For Christ's
And
sake.
honestly, that hospitalization, she could have won an Oscar.
For the level.
Even the doctors believed her. But I know, I'm her sibling. I know.
What is the greatest acting, if not the most exaggeration you can possibly have?
True.
You are, if you're in a movie scene, if you're literally, life is leaving your body, that is the most exaggeration you could possibly have. That is worthy of an award, an Academy Award.
Yeah. Shout out Tom Cruise for doing those exaggerated stunts. That's his job. I bet
True.
he fools doctors all the time.
Yeah, dude, he jumps on tables and tells them that it's not it. That's a 2005 reference for all you.
What did he jump
He
on a
jumped
table?
on the table at Oprah and said that he loves some girl or something.
Oh, really? Who?
Katie something. Katie Holmes?
Katie Holmes? Are they still together?
Maybe. I have no idea. I just know that one moment.
Huh.
From.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of a weirdo, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I've always heard. That he's a weirdo. Scientologist. But there is more. Jumped on the couch. I'm sorry, chat. God. So I'm sick of the people who refuse to read, then continue to blame me for not having an EpiPen when I was never effing able to get one. I was never able to get a prescription due to doctors refusing. You know why they refuse? We don't even need to say it.
Exaggeration!
Like what had happened to many people in the comments too. This post wasn't able to pen, so if you come here to mention it, you're blocked. And then some relevant comments. Melodic Sale 6193 says, I wonder if the sister's husband was the person that turned his wife against OP. Interesting. The sisters grew up together and she witnessed her allergic reactions. She knew that the sister wasn't faking it. I wonder if the brother-in-law doesn't like OP. Well, OP responds, you're exaggerating. No, I'm just kidding. My sister and I never had many obvious problems, but I was very aware she thought she was better than me due to my mother treating her better than me. Favoritism. I was the one who introduced my brother-in-law to my sister. We were friends. However, he never had any idea of my allergy. So it's actually the opposite. The brother-in-law was friends with OP and she set them up. So as far as we know, he has no motive. Anxious Custard 6208 says, that's so weird. Why would she care that much about proving something that quite literally doesn't affect her life at all? She's got problems. Agreed. Samuel Vimes Trained says,
That's my secret Reddit account.
Stop.
You caught me.
stop training them Vimes, Sam. Whatever your Vimes are, they're too trained. Some golden children. Wow. Some golden children have a need to be in control and to be the center of attention. OP's allergy is outside of her control and gives OP some attention. Whoa. A waiter taking longer to confirm / explaining an order, for example. And those kind of people cannot stand others getting more attention than them. So they try and create scenarios where they are in control or expose the other person for faking it and exaggerating. And consequences, their victim being harmed, ending up deceased, are something they do not care about. This is me. So reporting this actually is the only chance OP has to teach this person actions do have consequences. Good point.
Yeah, so do you think that OP is the a-hole?
I am further in the direction of no, OP is not the a-hole, and further in the direction of yes, file the police report.
I mean, I feel like if she's never gotten any kind of repercussions for her actions, like you just need it for the learning lesson,
Exactly. I also wonder, like, what would kind of be crazy though is if she ended up in prison for attempted murder. and like got like 3 years in federal prison for that.
It's like, what are you in for? Oh, double homicide with a deadly weapon. What was the weapon?
Exaggeration. Oh my God. But maybe I'm wondering, and maybe comments have some comments on this. If OP is the one to file the police report, can OP kind of like stop the train before it leaves the station? Like basically stop her from getting like 3 years in prison? Or because it's like a criminal act, once she like gives it to the police, if the police are like, oh, we need to bring this to a judge immediately, and like a court goes to trial, is the sister just completely at the mercy of the court and possibly getting sentenced to like years in prison for attempted murder? Probably not.
Think
Or I don't
that
know.
person has
Has
think
to
once charges are pressed, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about anything though.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Does anyone in the comments in the chat know anything about anything?
Please educate us. But no, the whole saying says, and to celebrate 1 month of Lil Protein membership, my mom is allergic to mushrooms. My sister doesn't like mushrooms or prawns, and says she is allergic. Never had a reaction or been to a doctor for it. But even if someone says they're allergic, you don't test them. Like,
I mean, that's what doctors do.
well, yeah, they test you in a controlled environment. They don't like.
I mean, if you are in control of the situation, then it's a controlled environment. And as we've learned from Golden Child Syndrome, those children want to be in control. So to her, it was a controlled environment. And why waste a hefty a hefty appointment to a doctor where you have to time, money, where you can just test it over dinner? 2 birds, 1 stone.
She's trying to control her ability to breathe, for her ability for her heart to keep beating.
You're welcome. Saved you a trip to the doctor's office.
Yep, you're good to go. You are definitely allergic to shellfish. Well, guys, we actually have a final update and an edit and some comments. But, oh, by the way, the judgment was not the a-hole. So that is the official matter.
Do you agree?
I agree, not the a-hole. Yes, as I said a few minutes ago. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to see if you changed your mind.
I did not. Good test. You wanted to see if I was exaggerating, but I wasn't. Good man. Good man.
I got you, baby.
Good man. So update 1 day later. Update. Just like to say, all of you who are blaming me for not having my EpiPen, man, absolutely 0 cents.
No, man. Sorry.
Yeah. I thought it was a repeat too, but it's not. Number 1, not everyone can afford one, even if you have free healthcare, because it's not 100% covered. Number 2, not everyone with an allergy carries an EpiPen. And number 3, she was my sister. Why would I feel the need to bring an EpiPen to her house for the homemade lunch? I feel like it's more that she wasn't able to get the prescription. Like, I feel like it's probably a good idea to, if you have an EpiPen, bring it like as many places as possible.
I wonder why she wasn't able to get the prescription.
But she wasn't able to get the prescription, so it's null and void. Like,
yeah, so like why, if you're allergic to something, wouldn't you have to get the prescription? Unless
you're exaggerating.
Wait, what's the zoom? There we go.
9. Yeah,
wait,
nice. You did it.
Say, wait. Unless
You're exaggerating. Yeah,
this is fun.
Yeah, right. It's kind of cool. It's like a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, like, once you get used to it, it's pretty fun.
It is. The buttons, the three core buttons are very fun. Or the 4 ones with the zoom. The zooms are good. Yeah, see, crushed it. So anyways, obviously now I know to save up for one. So Opie's gonna I just buy one on the black market. I don't know. So anyway, this morning I went to the police station, and with the help of the nurse who overheard everything, I filed a report. I wanted to know what I could do, and said that they could realistically only give me a temporary protective order while we wait for the court date where the judge will decide what's best. Yes, the hospital has cameras, so I'll ask the hospital if that can be used as evidence in court, or even with the police, as I still need to write a statement. Other than that, I've almost fully recovered and back to work tomorrow. I know it's a short update, but that's all I've got for you guys. Also, the only reason I'm updating this so soon is because I originally posted this in another sub a few days ago. Edit, I am not American. I do not live in America. So that does change the legal stuff there. Then some final comments to close us out that are relevant. Zackle74 says, wow, what the F is wrong with your sister? Obviously not the a-hole. Playing with someone's life for craps and giggles is just wrong as it gets. I don't blame you for pressing charges at all. AMW 38961 says, yeah, that's weird as heck to be playing with someone's life like that. And Avast 2006 says, I know you're faking it. I just wanted to test you. She screams, after having already seen you spend multiple days in the hospital from a previous incident, your sister either needs to be in a jail or a mental ward. Her cognitive function is seriously messed up. Which, that red flag, big red flag, that last relevant comment kind of leads me to believe, does she actually deserve some, even a night in the clink just to kind of scare her straight or something like that?
Potentially. I mean, I think she needs consequences. Maybe she even needs an evaluation. She seems like.
Yeah. I 1,000%. Oh, geez. I 1,000% agree on an evaluation. Maybe even I'm literally thinking a night in the tank or whatever, she
The
goes.
tank.
Yeah. It's like the holding cell or whatever.
Well, I guess they call it a drunk tank.
Yeah. The drunk tank. Yeah. Exactly.
I always thought a drunk tank, when they have a dunk tank?
Yeah.
I thought a drunk tank was where they put a bunch of drunks above water.
I mean, above water? I thought you were going to say above alcohol, which would be, that would literally be a drunk tank. Actually, that would be a really fun, county fair thing to have where it's just full of beer.
In hamster bottles.
Hamster bottles?
Yeah. So it's like a tank and you put drunk people in there and there are hamster bottles everywhere. And then you can just drink alcohol from the hamster bottles.
I was thinking you take a wasted person and put them in a dunk tank filled with beer.
Oh, and then they drink, they fall in and they just drink it
and
all.
then they just, yeah.
And subsequently die. That would be a lot.
Don't exaggerate on me, okay?
No, I'll try not to.
Yeah, I don't know. Olivia Grace says, John, not a night in the clink. I don't know if they're laughing at my vernacular or
it sounds like
idea.
something a 1920s person would say.
Yeah. We need to have them on night in the clink, you know what I mean? This just in, read all about it. But I don't know. I
John
feel like
used to have a paper route.
Huh?
He said you used to have a paper route.
I never had a paper route.
You did. You were the 1920s, you wore that little cap and you handed up paper.
Shut up. You're exaggerating. You are literally exaggerating right now. This is textbook exaggeration. We should put exaggeration into the lexicon of words like gaslighting and stuff like that.
I think gaslighting is just exaggeration, but mean.
You know what? Gaslighting is exaggerated. Can't even say it. Exaggerated exaggeration.
Trisha D says back in the 1920s when John was a mere boy of 45.
Oh my God. Anyways, but yeah, some sort of consequence and an evaluation. Can we agree on that? I feel like that is.
Yeah, I think she needs to be evaluated if she's really allergic to we're not talking about OP. We're talking about
we need a exaggeration evaluation. That's what we need over here.
What that reminds me of conjunction function.
What's your function?
Sophia!
She's coming. Oh, wow. Speak of her. Bye, everyone. I love you.
Should we get into this next story?
Yeah. All right, then. Let's get into this next story. Today I effed up by letting my sister choose my new hairstyle, only to end up as the victim of the stylist's petty revenge.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Would you get a bob cut?
It's French. Anyway.
That's why.
So Phoenix Galaxy says, so my main loctician got into a car accident and broke her hand. So she couldn't do my dreadlocks for a while. I was worried for her and I accepted my hair would look trash for a couple of months. 4 months later, my stuff is trash and I'm getting roasted at school. So I'm aggravated for a couple of weeks trying to find a new one with no luck. And I'm getting roasted while talking to girls too. They called me a unicorn, bacteria, a palm tree, etc. God.
This is wrong.
This is so sad. I gave up and my sister offered to look for one on Instagram. She found one she liked and with our mom's approval, she set up an appointment. I thanked her for helping her younger brother in his time of need. Thanks to some miscommunication, we were late, but still in the grace period. I was dressed already early because I wanted my hair fixed, but my mom thought I was still asleep when she was getting ready, but wasn't planning on waking me up for some reason. It took me asking her if she was okay because she was taking long to get ready for her to realize I was dressed an hour early. Okay, so that was just explaining why they were late. We made it, and our stylist arrived 5 to 10 minutes before the grace period was up. My mom and the stylist argued because they couldn't agree if my mom should pay a fee, but ultimately my mom reluctantly paid it even though we were still on time.
Ooh, oh, no. This is not good.
My old loctician liked me and my hair because out of all of her clients, my hair grows the fastest. In just 3 sessions, my locks were already at my ears. I normally get my dreadlocks retwisted into interlocks every 3 months or so to save money instead of going monthly because of my hair growth. And it got to the point where it didn't hurt. So there was no reason why my hair hurt the way it did. The stylist was pissed off at my mom for being late despite her website saying otherwise. This is so unprofessional.
What do you do here? Do you walk away?
I would
You're probably not going to get good service.
No. I mean, if he's a kid though, so I don't know if he would walk away. I think if after the session, you're like, hey, this is not okay. Maybe you go to like the store and you say, hey, like this happened with one of the locticians. And
I'm assuming
yeah.
this lady owns her own store.
Maybe. But she also might just be like a stylist working in,
Okay, so if she's
salon.
a stylist, talk to the manager.
Yeah.
If not, and she owns the store, what do?
Leave a bad review.
You can do a lot with a Google review.
Yeah.
You can take a company down.
Take it down. The stylist said that she could only do a palm roll. I get interlocks because it lasts longer and looks better in my opinion. I was bummed out, but at least my hair was getting fixed, so I was okay. I was okay before she pulled my scalp so vigorously that I thought she was trying to rip it off. I was biting the hell out of my teeth and was gripping the seat for dear life. There was a mirror in front of me so I could see my face, seeing it contorted in ways I could never even fathom doing. I would stop biting my teeth so I wouldn't chip them, but seconds later I would be biting my teeth again. I asked her, hey, excuse me, is it okay if you go lighter on my hair? It hurts. She looked me dead in my eye and said, I can't. It won't stick if I don't do it this rough, which was BS, but would have been okay if she hadn't said it with no compassion. She sounded annoyed that I even asked. My eyes were rolling back from the pain. I could barely look at the mirror and I was sweating hard. This is not okay. I mean, to do this to anyone, but to do it to a kid?
Come on.
This was new pain. And even when my original hairstylist did my hair for the first time, it did not even hurt to the extent that this woman did. Hell, the only time I have ever been hurt by her was when I ate a spicy sandwich she made for me, jalapenos, but that was funny and isn't related to hair, which I will tell later if you guys want. My point is that she's very considerate to her customers. After several, stop squirming, and I have to start over this one. I had tears down my face from the pain and my eyes were going pink, but I wasn't whining, just thug tears.
There we go. You can't cry. You're good, man.
I'm not crying. I asked in the most polite voice I could manage, how far along are we? Y'all, when she said she only did 6, I almost cried. I almost cut off my almost year-old locks right then and there. My head is big as F, so I knew this would take forever. The next day, the lady made a post throwing shade at my mom for being late, me being sensitive and moving without outright saying our names, but it was obvious. My sister showed our mom and our mom showed me. The stylist took down the post later and my mom let it go. Longest 4 hours of my life, and that only lasted 3 days. When we got home, my sister asked if I was okay, and all I could say at the time was, she tried to kill me and my hair. You are banned from picking out spots. And after I explained an hour later, we laughed. That shower and sleep after, though, was awful. My scalp was red and burned and was very sensitive when I tried to sleep.
Gosh.
Oh, man. Anyway, my original stylist made a full recovery, but quit her business after restyling my hair for the last time. I told her the story, and we shared a good laugh. Never cheat on your hairstylist, fellas.
I agree with that. Well, my dad's my barber, and I go to other barber.
Yeah. And OP continues, ever since that day, I've been too scared to try anyone else that isn't my mother, but I wanted to change styles, and my mom can't do it, so I have no choice. She offered to retwist my hair tonight, and we are going to her personal stylist soon. And that is the end of the story. Don't make your barber upset. But definitely this hairstylist, this loctician that's not okay.
She came in with a bad attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not professional. Like, what are you trying to prove at that point?
Yeah, you're taking out on a kid. What is this? Why?
You get joy in that? Do you sleep at night doing this to people?
You're like, I tortured a child.
Slept
Tomorrow maybe I'll torture another child. That's you. Hair loctician.
That was you could be a good witch.
Thank you. I played a lot of evil queens. But that's the end of that story.
The end.
My brother proposed to my fiance, his ex. I'm pissed. What should I do?
Whoa.
This is OKOP, home to the craziest true stories on earth. I'm Sophia and Riley. What?
Duel.
At dawn.
At dawn.
That's wild. To propose to your brother's fiance.
Come on, bro. Find somebody else.
There's 100 fish in the sea. That's it.
The 99 weren't your brother's fiance.
Come on. So, equivalent ladder 197 says, my 28 male brother, Mark, 26 male, used to date my fiance, Jen, 26 female, a year ago. For context, they dated back in August 2022. Oh, so this is recent.
Oh, wow.
That is really recent. So they dated in 2022 and presumably broke up and then got together 2023.
Oh, wow. That's a year.
So they dated a year ago.
Like, that's so close that your family won't be like, oh, who's this new girl? They'll be like, oh, I remember her being with your brother.
You know what? I think they're both in the wrong based off this initial thing, because you shouldn't be dating your brother's ex, period. They were only together for a month before he broke things off with her because he was bored of being in a relationship and never really wanted to settle down anyway. At the time they were dating, I was in a different state, so I had no idea he even had a girlfriend, and I had no idea who Jen was until I met her. Suspicious. Jen and I met at a bar when I moved back in October and hit it off really well. She was easily the most beautiful and intelligent woman I ever met. And we met up a few times more before we made it official.
How many times do you meet up before making it official?
Tell us.
Tell us.
Tell us how many times.
We need to know.
For no reason, but we need to know how many times.
Yes. No reason whatsoever, but
No reason.
what's a good number?
Yeah, what's a good number? What do you guys think? Fast forward to December, and I finally bring her up to my family and propose them meeting her at Christmas. They knew I was in a relationship, but I'm not the most open about my personal life, so I kept details about her to a minimum until I knew how serious we really were. My parents asked to see pictures, and they started passing my phone around the dinner table. Mark saw it and blew up, calling me a bad brother for dating his ex-girlfriend, and he demanded I break it off with her. I refused. When I asked Jen about it, she confirmed they dated and gave me the details about their breakup. It took a few weeks, but eventually Mark stopped bringing up me dating his ex, and I thought he was over it. On Jen's birthday this year, I took her out to a fancy dinner with both of our families and our closest friends, and I asked her to marry me. Mark flipped out once again and blew up about me proposing to her, which I and my sisters immediately shut down. The incident happened this past weekend. Mark had been pretty quiet about the whole thing for the last 2 months. I didn't see him much and figured he went low contact with me, which I had no problem with. Then he invited me and Jen for family dinner at his apartment with my parents and sisters. I thought it was weird, but my parents and sisters were also going, so we agreed to go. The dinner was nice, nothing too fancy, and we moved to the living room to talk. About 30 minutes into a normal conversation, Mark stood up and told us he had an announcement. He made a long speech about being happy to have his family around for his big moment, then got on one knee and pulled out this cheap ring while asking Jen to marry him. What? In front of your family?
Yikes.
In front of your brother? To your brother's fiancé? Like, I get that they were dating, and like normally I'd be like, that's not like, don't date your brother's, ex-girlfriend, but I guess he didn't know. It's still so weird.
So is OP and Jen together right now?
Yes.
And Mark's pulling this.
Fiancés. And Mark, in front of everyone, just proposed to her.
Does he not know?
He does.
But what?
I don't know why. I don't know what he's
What?
expecting to happen here. Jen was confused and obviously uncomfortable and demanded that he put it away and stand up. My dad tried to make a grab for Mark, but I got to him first and punched him.
Oh.
I won't repeat most of it, mostly because I was too angry to even listen most of it, but he said something along the lines of wanting to show me that Jen wasn't really into me and just wanted to get back at him.
What?
Before it could get worse, my parents rushed me out and promised to talk to him. It's been a few days since it happened, and I'm still pissed off. I don't know what to do at this point. I'm scared Jen might have second thoughts marrying me because of this. Any advice?
No, I
And
don't.
there is an edit.
There is an edit. I don't think Jen picked the wrong guy.
No. I think she picked the right brother. If Mark is pulling stunts like this. Yeah.
If he's willing to do this, what else would he be
Yeah.
willing to do if you guys got together?
No. But I think also what OP might be saying second thoughts is like, would she want to marry into this family if this is like the drama, you know?
Yeah, but if it's just Mark causing
If it's just
the
Mark,
issues,
you can just go long contact with Mark.
but it might run the family.
Yeah.
Run the blood.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It is causing drama.
What kind of balls do you have to be? This
Yeah.
is like out of a movie.
No, I just the fact that he's doing it at a dinner that he invited them all to is like, what did you think was going to happen?
Setup.
Literally, it was a setup. And I love that OP's like, yeah, he got a cheap ring.
Cheap ring. He emphasizes on cheap ring.
Cheap. There is an edit. Same
Okay.
post later that day. First, thanks for reading and responding. I've been reading the comments between last night and this morning, and valid points were made. There isn't an update since the only people I've spoken to since that dinner is Jen and my little sister. I want to clarify a few things that I saw in the comments. Number one, Jen and I are newly engaged. It was one of those feelings where we both knew we were in it for the long run. As fast as it is, I'm sure about her.
Nice.
Number two, when we met, I was the one who approached her, not the other way around. Whether she knew or had suspicions of us being related, I don't know. I asked after finding out they dated, and she said she had no idea. I didn't have any reason to doubt that, but I can admit the seemingly overreaction on Mark's part does raise red flags. I had no idea she and Mark dated when I met her. What are you doing?
Dude, to be real.
While we're recording, Riley?
Yeah, that's how B-reels work.
I guess that's true.
Let me know if you guys have B-reels.
I don't ever be real. I had no idea she and Mark dated when I met her. Mark and I aren't close at all. We used to be, but as we grew up, we drifted and talked less and less. Before I moved back, we didn't really speak much aside from special days like his or my birthday. Jen knew of my family, but not much until I decided I was ready to introduce them to her. When she and Mark met, again, I didn't get a sense of any residual feelings on either part. She didn't treat him like a stranger, but she also wasn't overly affectionate with him either. Number four, I was told this was a relationship that lasted a month. I didn't think I needed permission from Mark to ask her to marry me, but maybe that was wrong of me. I'm not sure. That being said, I plan to talk to Mark this weekend to lay everything out on the table and figure out what's up. I never asked for his side of the relationship, which is my fault for not doing my due diligence. If anything major or enlightening happens, I'll update. But for now, that's all I have, and there is some relevant comments.
Do you think Mark and Jen's relationship was even that much though?
If it was just 2 months, then it's not really anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's enough for it to be awkward for your brother to be getting married to her, though.
Okay.
Like, I do think it would be very awkward to be like, that was my ex from literally a year ago and you're marrying her.
Yikes.
Yeah. But I guess they don't have like a very strong relationship.
But he
anyway.
didn't need to get permission from Mark though.
No. I don't think he needed to get permission, but obviously this would strain it. But it seems like it's already strained, so I don't know. Relevant comments. Don't give in to the, but he's a family comments. Thankfully, I haven't heard that he's family, much aside from my mom and a few aunts. They know me well enough to know our relationship isn't enough for me to put up with his disrespect, especially towards my fiance. They'd be wasting their breath. On fiancé, yeah, I don't think I have to worry about her going back. Safe to say, she can't stand him either.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And there
Let's
is a
go.
juicy update.
Ooh.
Do you have any other thoughts before we get into that?
What do you think Mark is gonna do?
Yeah, I think Mark is gonna try and like pull some stunt and be like, oh, we were dating for longer and like, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try and make Jen look bad.
Why is he trying to get back with her like this?
I don't know. It seems like he's just jealous. I don't know.
Jealousy.
Yeah.
What no doesn't run in my blood.
Riley's the perfect person.
I am very secure. Would never. Now that makes me feel like I'm insecure. That was supposed to be a joke. I might get jealous. I don't know.
You're taking it back. That was such a reversal.
Yeah, I do get jealous, but not easily. Like this. I don't know.
I don't think I'm a jealous person per se.
That's good. For reasonable cause.
Yeah.
If it's like they keep talking to someone else besides me, then I'm like, hey, come on.
Hey, come on.
Talk to
me. But I don't do anything about it. Well, let's get into this juicy update.
Go.
2 days later. First, I want to thank everyone for reading.
You're
It's been a
welcome.
busy weekend, so I haven't had the chance to reply to many people, but I did edit in responses to the most common questions I saw in the comments of the original post. Again, thank you. I appreciate it all, even the criticisms. You are welcome. Now for the update.
Yes.
I called Mark and asked him to meet up with me at my place to talk.
At your place?
Yeah.
I'd
Interesting. With Jen?
probably go somewhere else.
Yeah. I told him I would prefer Jen to be around for the talk as well. Interesting. But I was cool with it if he didn't want her there. He agreed to talk to both of us and showed up at my place around noon today. It was pretty quiet for a few minutes before I started the conversation. I apologized for not warning him I would be proposing to Jen, and I apologized for hitting him. He said it was whatever, but he appreciated the apology. I told him what Jen had said about the relationship and breakup when I asked her about it, and I asked him to confirm if it was true. I pretty much said that his reaction throughout the whole thing had been extreme, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding their relationship or downplaying how serious they were. He confirmed that they only dated for a few weeks, and he broke up with her because he lost interest.
Okay.
That's harsh. Jen asked if he was acting like this because he still had feelings or regrets about ending things with her. He said he could admit he thought she was more attractive than when he last saw her, but there weren't any other feelings or regrets. He said he just didn't like seeing a girl he dated, even if it was short term, with his older brother. And as a man, I shouldn't have violated him by pursuing things with his ex.
Okay. Come on, buddy.
This is a bit of a childish reaction.
Come on.
Like, again, not cool for OP to date his ex. However, he didn't know.
He didn't know. I mean, they met for a short amount of time, and it was natural how they met.
Yeah, it wasn't like he introduced them or something.
Yeah, and like you lost interest in
You
her,
lost
man.
interest. Yeah.
It's just a competitive thing right now.
It is. He's like, specifically him saying like, oh, my older brother was dating my ex. Yeah.
If you really want to be competitive, this is what you do. You say, I'm so happy you guys are together and I love you guys. And you get married to someone else. And that's how you win.
Yeah. And then you're happy.
Yeah.
And you've won at life.
Exactly. Not what you're doing, buddy.
No.
You're losing.
You're losing at life. I reminded him that I had no idea they dated, so it wasn't like I consciously did this knowing their history together. He shrugged me off and said it didn't matter, and I still should have broken it off. He was adamant that if the roles were reversed, he would have done the same thing, which I doubt.
Yeah.
Would you? Would you? Really?
Come on.
I don't know about that. I asked him why he proposed her if he didn't have any lingering feelings. Basically, to sum it up, he was talking about it to one of his buddies who was around when Mark and Jen dated, and the guy put the idea in his head that maybe Jen knew from the start that that we were related, and was doing this to get back at him, considering Jen had been hung up on him after they ended. That is so egotistical. That's so self-obsessed.
I bet you $10 Mark is a finance bro.
Yeah, I buy it. He and his friends thought it would be a good idea to test it and see if they were right. So he came up with the idea to propose and see if she dumped me for him. That is so self-absorbed.
They had to be out on the Saturday night drunk out of their minds when they came
like,
up with this.
Dude, propose to her. Propose to her. She'll dump you. She'll dump your brother and take you back. Jen asked him to elaborate why he thought she was hung up on him. And he told her that he heard she was asking about him following the breakup and still hanging out at the places they used to go. So it was a valid assumption.
Wait a second. Places you used to go? You guys dated for a few weeks. You probably just went there.
Yeah, those were just the places that she went to.
Come on.
A few weeks is also like 2 to 3.
Yeah, you probably went out 2 to 3 times. At max 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
She's not allowed to go to any of the places that she went to before if she went to them with you. Wild. Then for her to pop up randomly with his brother affirmed his suspicions. Jen told him she'd only asked about him once following the breakup, and she'd been hanging out at those places with friends before they started dating, and she wouldn't avoid them because of a breakup. Yeah, a 2-week or 3-week breakup. She also told him she was offended at the idea that she would go as low as to pursue me just to get back at him. He shrugged and gave her a half-assed apology, but said she had to see it from his point of view. She really doesn't. She really doesn't have to see it from your point of view.
Yeah.
They're big red flags. He asked her if she really didn't know, and she told him that she didn't see the resemblance in us until we were in the same room, and we act nothing alike, clearly. So it never crossed her mind, and he said, okay. That pretty much wrapped up the conversation. He did tell me before he left that I could take back his invite to the wedding because he can't bring himself to support a relationship knowing he used to date her.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
He's a drama queen. This is too much. She's doing too much.
Oh, this man lives in a rom-com.
He literally. I told him he didn't have to worry about that as he was most likely going to be uninvited anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, stay around.
I
Don't
bet
invite
he
him.
was like,
He's like, well, wait a minute. He proposed to Jen again. He's like, wait a minute.
with a cheaper ring.
Yeah. It's a ring pop this time. It's been a few hours since our talk, and I do feel better. My parents aren't too happy about him being uninvited, but they understand that it was a mutual decision and probably for the best. My sisters told me that they knew he didn't have a good reason for being an a-hole, and they don't blame me for not wanting him at the wedding. As of now, I'm going to limit contact with Mark, and I doubt he'll reach out to me anytime soon either. Once again, I want to thank everyone for reading and commenting, and if anything significant happens, I'll update again. And there's one relevant comment. Why didn't she know of your family? Opie says, we hadn't discussed my family much in the beginning of our relationships. I left home to get away from them, my parents specifically, and started reconciling at my sister's request when I decided to move back home. I was open about not being close with them when Jen asked, and she was okay with being left in the dark, considering the circumstances. And there is a juicy update.
Ooh. So wait, what about the family again?
It seems like OP doesn't have like a really good relationship with his parents or
Okay.
his brother. And so that's why he didn't really talk about them to Jen.
Oh, I see.
Only recently has he been working on it after his sister asked him to.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this all makes sense why he wouldn't know that, this was his brother's ex. And I think at that point, like, again, I keep saying this, don't date your siblings' exes, but I feel like he didn't know. Presumably it had been at least a month or two.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, yeah, like, I'm sorry I didn't know, but also like this, like, it's gotten kind of serious. But there might be some red flags on the horizon. Update, November 11th, 2 months later.
Ooh.
I couldn't post this to the same forum, so I'm posting this directly to my profile in case anyone is interested in an update. It's been a while since I posted, but a few things have happened since my last talk with Mark. So I've been low contact with Mark since our last conversation. I haven't called him and he hasn't called me, and our only interactions have been in family settings. As it stands, my mom is now upset that Mark is still uninvited from my wedding. It started with a comment made during my younger sister, Sophie's 22 female, that's me, birthday. Her boyfriend of, I think, 4 years proposed to her at the end of the night at 22. Jesus. Congratulations.
Wow.
Woo, boy. Her boyfriend of, I think, 4 years proposed to her at the end of the night, and we sat around talking about what she envisioned for her dream wedding. Everyone's getting proposed in this family.
Except for Mark.
Except for Mark. She talked a bit about wanting a destination wedding and her ideas for the cake and dress. Then she said something along the lines of, Teddy, I know Mark's banned from your wedding, but you won't care if he comes to mine, right? I laughed it off and told her I can't get mad about her guest list, even if I wanted to. My mom gave me this weird look and asked if Mark was still not invited to my wedding. I told her yes, and she got irritated. She told me she thought I was joking and said I was being unreasonable to go through with banning him from the wedding since he's family. Wait, but Mark also said he didn't want to come anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's even banning. He's like, they both agreed that it was probably the best for him not to come.
He quit before you fired him.
Yeah, literally. I feel like maybe the mom doesn't know this. She should be informed. But no, but he told her it was a mutual thing, actually.
I think the mom's still going to be like, my sons can't be together. I felt as a parent. Like, that's probably what's going through her head.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you have or not, but she's going to have to deal with it.
She accused me of holding a grudge just to be petty. I reminded her that he and I agreed on him not coming. I then told her that this wasn't the time to talk about my wedding since the day was about Sophie, and if Mark or her want to talk about my wedding, they can call me another time. Sophie laid into my mom a bit about trying to make her special day about Mark, and my mom dropped the issue. For those of you who might be wondering, Mark wasn't at Sophie's party because he apparently had to work and couldn't make it. A few days later, my mom stopped by my house and said she wanted to discuss my wedding. She asked me why I was so adamant about Mark not coming to my wedding. She said that I shouldn't be so insecure about Mark and Jen's previous relationship and that uninviting him was a step too far. Oh my God, she's not listening. I told her that Mark and I mutually agreed on him not coming to the wedding. He keeps having to repeat this. And he can come to me about it himself if he has a problem with it. We got into an argument and she said that if I wasn't going to re-invite Mark, then she would not be coming either because I'm ostracizing her son. I shrugged and told her if that's what she wants, then she can toss her invite in the trash because I won't beg her to be there. She asked me if I would really be okay with her not attending, and I told her it wouldn't be the first time she missed an event of mine because of Mark. Okay, there's clearly some favoritism.
Yeah.
Yikes. She said I was being an a-hole for throwing her past mistakes in her face, and she stormed out. I then started getting messages and phone calls from her and a few family members about the whole situation, saying I was in the wrong and urging me to invite Mark just to keep the peace. Jen's also been getting messages from my mom asking her to talk to me and get me to change my mind, but to my knowledge, she hasn't been responding.
Dude, neither of them want them to be there.
Yeah, no, I don't understand why everyone's pushing it. They don't, like, Mark does not want to be there. The people affected by it.
Yeah, have already acknowledged each other and are okay with it.
God.
Leave them alone.
To message Jen too?
Yikes.
So far, most of my mom's side of the family are standing in solidarity with her and not attending. What?
Whoa.
What is her problem? She's like trying to sabotage his wedding?
Oh.
While my dad and his side of the family, which is only my aunt and uncle and their 2 kids, agree with me and are still coming. My sisters are also still coming to the wedding, and of course Jen's family too. Also, I talked to Mark about it and asked him if he had a problem with not having an invite. He said he uninvited himself in the first place, and he doesn't get why they're making a big deal because he still doesn't want to go.
So they're on the same page.
This family is bonkers. What is their problem?
I feel like Mark and OP need to get a family dinner together. Be like, hey, we don't like each other.
We don't want to go to the wedding.
And we're okay with it. Yeah. So figure it out.
Yeah. He told me to leave him out of the fighting because he's not involved, and he said he'd tell her the same. As of now, I'm back to being low contact with my mom, but my dad and I are still on decent terms. I'm still deciding on whether I'll re-invite my mom and her family, should they change their mind about the boycott. But the chances are low, and I told my dad this too, which he understands. For now, Jen and I started looking into downsizing the venue since the guest list is significantly smaller. That's so sad.
That is pretty sad.
I mean, you save money.
You'll save money.
It's very sad though that this is the hill that they're dying on. When, again, Mark and OP have already talked about this.
Yeah.
Update 3. This story never ends. My mom is uninvited from the wedding indefinitely.
Whoa.
That's big. Wow. About 2 weeks after she decided to not come to the wedding, she came by and said she wanted to clear the air and talk about everything. We agreed and invited her to join us for dinner. Jen made her a plate of food, and I asked her if she was still planning on not coming to the wedding. She said that while she wants to, she can't get over me not inviting Mark because of a simple mistake. I reminded her that this simple mistake was proposing to my fiancé with me sitting less than 3 feet away, and she said it was just a joke. Jen asked her why she wanted to talk if she was maintaining the same stance on Mark coming to the wedding. She said she wanted to talk to Jen, and she was hoping Jen would hear her out and talk me into inviting Mark again. She apparently assumed I was at work and she'd be able to catch her alone. What? Jen politely told her that she understood her thought process, but she wouldn't have had that conversation anyway without me present, since this is about my brother. I can't believe the mom is trying to go behind.
She's trying to manipulate the situation.
Yeah. My mom made a comment somewhere in the lines of Jen being spineless and unable to have a conversation without me thinking for her, which started a pretty heated back and forth between the 3 of us before Jen told her to get out. She got up and started walking towards the door, and my mom followed her, still screaming at her. By this point, she's yelling about her tearing our family apart. While Jen was unlocking the front door, my mom grabbed her hair and pulled her to the ground, still screaming. She hit her and tried to claw her face, and I dragged her off of her and threw her outside. Oh my God.
What the fuck?
Call the police.
Wait, what?
The mom attacked her.
That came out of nowhere.
Mark and the mom are crazy.
Wait, what? I'm speechless.
She attacked her. I hope they call the police on this mom.
Yes, honestly.
Because that's not okay. I'm glad that she's not invited to the wedding because she's showing her true colors. She banged on the door for a few minutes while I made sure Jen was okay before she left and called the both of us repeatedly. When I was sure Jen was okay, I texted my mom and told her not to bother reaching out again because we'll never speak to her again. I called my dad and sisters and told them what happened too. My dad was surprised and tried to make excuses, saying she'd been stressed about the whole situation for a while. My sisters say they knew she'd snap eventually, since she's always been a crazy bee. And they said they'd come and make sure Jen is okay. I'm glad that the sisters are nice.
The sisters are the only sane ones in this family.
I asked Jen if she wanted to press charges, but she declined and said she only wanted to cut contact with her for good. I told her that part was obvious, but she should still talk to the police since she was physically assaulted, but she doesn't want my mom to get arrested. Jen's so sweet. My sisters and Jen's mom came by to comfort her, thankfully, so she's doing okay. My mom is blocked on everything until Jen says otherwise. I genuinely don't know what to do now. Jen doesn't want to go to the police because she'd feel guilty having her arrested over this, but my sisters and I want to convince her, and I'd at least want documentation in case something happens in the future.
Yeah, be good to document it, but not press charges.
Yeah, you can be like, I don't want to press charges, but I do want to document this thing.
Yeah. Yikes.
Oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. There are some relevant comments and a juicy update. I don't know how much juicier we can get.
Insane. What do you do? You have to cut contact.
Absolutely cut contact. If someone's attacked your partner,
Your own mother?
your mother,
It's just insane that she won't give this up.
yeah, like off of something that Mark and OP already.
Our ingredients over insanity.
Relevant comments. All of this could have been avoided if Mark had sat down with your mom and taken responsibility. OP says he absolutely could, but I don't think he knows what accountability means. I really do believe he thinks he has nothing to do with her mom's actions, and I don't think anything I say will be enough to convince him that everything she does is for him and her own selfish gain. OP comments on November 12th to someone saying they should really press charges. Jen is still against formal charges, but after reading some of your comments with me and a long talk about how this could escalate, she agreed to have it documented with the police just in case. She wants to talk to my dad about possibly getting her back in therapy or some kind of treatment for her erratic behavior. And of course, we are moving forward with no contact. And there is, as I said, a juicy update. Should we just get right into it?
Yeah.
Let's freaking go.
No way she said that.
What?
You said, let's freaking go. That's
Yeah.
huge.
Why?
Because that pumps me up.
Let's freaking go.
Let's freaking go. Yeah. Let's
Juicy
go.
update.
Let's freaking get it.
Okay, unless you're listening to this at night. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Juicy update.
Too bad.
Some background on my relationship with my parents. Some people were asking questions about my mom and my decision not to be open with Jen about my relationship with my parents. I forgot that he had already been low contact with them and then tried again to have a relationship with him because of his sisters. So there's already precedent for this behavior. I figured I could give some background on why we're so strained. Like some of you said, Mark was the golden child. Mark was my mom's baby boy, and she didn't do much to try and hide it. I can't imagine playing favorites on your own children.
Why? What makes Mark stand out so more?
Yeah, what's Mark doing? Dating a bunch of people?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that if you're gonna play favorites on your children to this extent, I don't know how parenting works, so maybe you do have favorites, but if you're gonna blatantly show favoritism, then you shouldn't have children.
This is true.
They didn't spend much time with my sisters and I like normal parents did with their kids unless they had to. But they'd spent time with Mark as often as possible, like taking him out shopping while we stayed with the sitter or bringing him home his favorite food and toys from the store when they usually shop alone. He usually got better things compared to the rest of us, like new expensive clothes, while ours were thrifted or new toys just for him compared to old toys we had to share with each other. If my sisters and I got gifts, they were for us to share, but my mom made it pretty clear that Mark's things were only for him and we shouldn't touch it. I feel like that was her idea with Jen. She was like, that was Mark's girlfriend. You shouldn't have gotten a relationship. When Mark would screw up, I'd get punished for not being a good role model and showing him the proper way to behave. For example, Mark went through a phase of breaking his toys and I got the beating because he obviously learned that behavior from me.
Oh.
Wow, your parents were just abusive. That's horrible. Oh my God. When he was 8, Mark got in trouble at school for trying to push a kid down the stairs. I was grounded for 2 weeks and told to apologize to the kid for not teaching my brother right.
Oh.
They're parentifying him.
Whoa.
Wow.
This is horrible.
When I turned 13, I pushed for my parents to start giving me an allowance. They agreed as long as I did household chores like mowing the lawn, taking out the trash, raking leaves, etc. It was usually somewhere around $25 a week to help me start saving. Mark saw that I was getting money and he begged my parents for allowance too. Instead of making him work, $10 of my allowance was given to him each week because we were doing such a good job with our chores that he never touched. Whenever I asked him to help, he'd tell me it's not his job to do chores, so why should he bother? It was around this time that I started really distancing myself from my brother. By the time I entered high school, we only talked to each other when we needed small favors or when we absolutely had to. I got my first job when I was 17 because I wanted to finally get my own car and make money that they couldn't force me to give to Mark. My oldest sister, Maggie, helped me start my own bank account and showed me how to properly budget and save my money. I got my first car at 18 after all my hard work. When Mark got his license, my parents asked me to let him use my car to get around and for extra practice behind the wheel. Reluctantly, I agreed. And for a while, the arrangement was fine. Mark used my car when I didn't need it and helped maintain it pretty well. When he expressed wanting my parents to buy him his own car, my mom came to me and told me to give him my car because he needed it more.
Whoa.
Wow. When I refused, she threatened to kick me out. We got into a fight that night, which ended with her giving Mark my car and taking me to transfer ownership of it to him within the following few days. Since I didn't have anywhere else I could go at the time, I just sucked it up and signed it over.
Yeah.
Oh my God. These parents are horrible.
What the heck?
Yeah, I'm glad that they're not coming to the wedding. I don't think I would have invited them to the wedding, period, after this.
Really?
If this was like my childhood, I would not have invited them to the wedding. But also I understand wanting to it seems like OP did cut contact and then tried to reestablish that. And it's clearly, they do not deserve that.
Yeah.
When I graduated high school, both of my parents skipped my graduation because Mark didn't want to sit in a long ceremony just to see me get a piece of paper. And my mom didn't want to leave him alone for the night. So I only had the support of my sisters and my aunt and uncle who wanted to take me out. They ended up having to bring me home at my parents' request because they made me dinner to make it up for me. It was a dinner I couldn't eat because my mom put shrimp and chicken on the same serving dish and I'm allergic to shellfish. These parents are horrible. I don't know how many times I can say it because they just keep being horrible.
The more you read, you'd be like, oh, even more horrible. Example 300. Yeah,
I understand what you're
terrible.
saying. They're terrible, terrible. Yes. My first year out of high school, I worked 2 jobs to buy myself another car.
Yo.
And at the start of the new school year, I moved away from college and cut contact with them. They, mostly my mom, tried to reach out for the first few months via social media and Sophie, but I never responded. And I told Sophie she would be cut off too if she kept trying. Oh, that's sad though. When she couldn't get to me through Sophie, oh, I see. I thought Sophie was just trying to reach out. But it seems like the mom is using Sophie to get to OP. Okay, yeah, I understand. When she couldn't get to me through Sophie, she tried going through my older sister, Charlotte, and a few times through Maggie and Mark until I threatened to file a restraining order for harassment. It was a bluff because I had no idea how to do it, but it managed to scare her off, and the most I got from her were happy holiday texts over the years. Around the time I moved back, Charlotte told me that they had been seeing a family therapist at Charlotte's request, and my parents wanted to apologize for their treatment of us. I was hesitant, but I agreed as long as they would be genuine. And the reconciliation process started when I moved back home. That doesn't even scratch the surface of everything they put me through, and it took a lot for me to even begin to let them back into my life. When I met Jen, I wasn't sure where my relationship with her was going or where my relationship with my parents was going. I didn't want to mention my family at all, mostly because I was ready to cut contact again if I needed to. Jen was understanding of it being a sore subject and didn't press for more. I hope this helps shed some light on some of the questions I've been seeing pop up. And there are some relevant comments, but any thoughts?
This is nuts. All those little things. I mean, good that they're
going to therapy,
but
yeah, they're just really awful.
This is so sad to see that the mom seemed to have come a long ways since then and then just
ruined it.
Just ruin everything.
Or seemingly came a long way. Pretended that she came a long way and then clearly didn't.
Yeah.
Like clearly had all of those same problems that OP grew up with. Ugh. But there are some relevant comments.
Okay.
On why OP didn't have the reconciliation depend on them reimbursing him for the car. I wouldn't even thought about that.
Yeah, he worked hard for the car.
Getting reimbursement for the car wasn't a hill I was willing to die on since the damage was already done. Even now, it's hard to believe Mark was the favorite. There wasn't anything really special about him. I don't mean that as an insult either. He was just a regular kid. My parents weren't having fertility issues. He wasn't a miracle. It wasn't a meal ticket. They weren't having marital problems and using a baby as a Band-Aid. He was just born, and they decided to love him more than us. And believe me, they didn't think this was normal. They just have a soft spot for our parents because there are parents, and they believe they have redeeming qualities. Oh, the other kids.
Okay.
You're sure you're not adopted? I'm biological. Unfortunately, they couldn't deny me even if they wanted to. Haha. I used to make excuses for them, but after a while, I had to admit that they're just two people who should never have had kids. Absolutely. Yeah, if you're going to treat your kids this way, just don't have kids.
Yeah, don't bother.
Don't bother. But guess what?
What?
There's a juicy update.
There's more?
There's more. This story never ends.
Holy cow.
I really hope it ends happily. Like Jen and OP get married and never see the family again. Juicy update.
Yeah.
Woo. 17 days later. I want to thank everyone who's taken the time to give me advice on what to do going forward and all the kind messages and comments I've gotten over the past few days/weeks. Jen and I have read the comments together and everything is appreciated. To answer the most common question about why I chose to reconnect after everything, the short answer is because I would do anything for my sisters. Aww. Charlotte wanted the entire family around for the birth of her first child and to help her while she adjusts. She didn't want part-time aunts or uncles who would only visit her kid during birthdays and holidays. She was never the type to ask for much of anything growing up, so when she asked if I would be willing to try for her, I agreed because it would make her happy. I also think part of me hoped that maybe they'd changed. I don't regret trying to reconcile either. My parents are still terrible, but I met the love of my life, so I call it a win.
Aw.
A few people wanted to know if there's an update, so here we go. Sorry if it's a mess or confusing, a lot has happened. We filed a report with the police. Good. And we were told that even though Jen doesn't want to pursue anything, it's not up to us to decide whether it goes further, but they would keep our preference in mind.
Cool.
We provided some pretty decent evidence of the assault, including pictures of Jen's face and texts with my mom and dad talking about what happened. We were advised to report and record any other incidents with my mom going further in case anything else happens. Considering where we live, I doubt it'll go anywhere, but at least we have it on record. I got about 100 angry text messages that tell me they at least spoke with her regarding the incident. Well, maybe you shouldn't have attacked someone.
Yeah. That would have been the sensible thing to do.
But I guess
your brain cells aren't working.
my mom tried to corner me leaving my job and screamed at me about trying to ruin her life. She screamed that I was an awful son for trying to get her arrested over a small misunderstanding. And she didn't understand what she'd done to deserve being punished like this. Give her an itemized bill of all the things she did to deserve being punished like this. I told her that if she didn't like being in legal trouble, then she shouldn't have hit Jen. She demanded I tell the police to forget the report, which I refused. I told her exactly what the officer said about it being out of my hands. She had a tantrum in the parking lot and hit me a few times just on the chest and arm before security intervened and dragged her off the property. I had to talk to my boss about the incident. Luckily, she was understanding about everything going on after I explained what was happening.
Boss. Nice boss.
Yeah, no, nice boss. I'm glad that they understood because
that would have been horrible that if she went there, did that, and then he got
fired
reprimanded or fired.
No.
Oh.
When I got home, I told Jen what happened. She was upset and asked that we discuss the plan with my family moving forward. It was a long talk, but we took the advice of some Redditors and decided to go completely no contact with my family aside from my sisters.
Nice.
We agreed that having them in my life is adding unnecessary stress for the both of us, and we aren't even married yet. She told me she wanted to consider moving away and putting some distance between us and my family. She told me that she tried to stay out of my family issues because it's not her place, but she refuses to put up with my mom and her behavior or my dad enabling her abuse. Absolutely. That is such a fair thing to ask. A lot more was said, too much to put in this post, but I agreed with her that they were more trouble than they're worth. And I also don't want to put up with this anymore. I also agreed to go to therapy, and she's helping me to find a therapist.
Nice.
That's good. I'm glad. The parents should go back to therapy. I decided to call my dad after our talk and let him know I would be going no contact. He didn't answer the first time I called, so I left a message asking to have a long talk. When he called back, he asked if it was okay for my mom to be a part of this conversation. No. I told him it was okay since she needed to hear what I had to say too. The conversation went about as well as you can expect. I told them both that Jen and I are cutting them out of our lives. My dad demanded to know why I would do something like that after going through all the trouble of repairing a relationship, because you destroyed it. You destroyed the relationship. I told him that this entire thing with Mark had shown me that nothing is actually repaired between us. And as far as they're concerned, the world revolves around only my mom and my little brother. I told them that their continued favoritism of Mark has brought our relationship to a point of no return, and that I wasn't interested in holding on to a failing relationship. I told them that I agreed to reconcile for Charlotte's sake, but I don't appreciate all of the disrespect towards me and Jen, and that I wouldn't put up with it anymore for both of our sakes. To my mom specifically, I told her that I was tired of her using me as a scapegoat for her bad parenting and Mark's attitude. I also told her that I would never forgive her for what she did to Jen and what she did to me and my sisters growing up. She started to say how I should move on like my sisters have, but I cut her off and told her that she should take their forgiveness and move on because she would never receive it from me. Especially after everything she's done these last few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. She started crying and asking me how I could treat her like such a villain.
Because you are.
Because you're a villain. This is villain stuff. This is textbook villain activity.
Yeah. Yes.
This is Joker level.
This is Joker level.
I told her she could only be upset with herself because I've done nothing wrong. She cried harder and told me how much she regretted having me. And how I've only tried to ruin her life.
Oh my
This mom
gosh.
is awful.
Whoa.
Awful psychotic person.
Yeah, you're the villain.
You're the villain.
How can you not see that?
I love that she's like, why are you painting me as the villain? I wish you were never born. That's villain stuff.
I'm just glad he didn't become the Joker growing up.
Yeah.
But Mark kind of did.
Mark did. Mark's the Joker.
Oh, man.
This started a heated argument between her and Jen once again. And Jen told her in much more colorful words that she was disgusting, and plenty of other nice names for saying something like that to me. I don't know if she left the room or just decided to shut up, but my mom stopped speaking when Jen was done speaking to her. My dad said he wasn't okay with being shut out of my life and asked me to try and understand my mom's point of view. He said that she was also struggling because her kids were at odds because of you, because of the mom, because her kids were at odds and I was being unfair to punish her for her struggles with raising and caring for us. The last thing he said was that we were a family and I shouldn't let past mistakes stop us from moving forward together. These aren't past mistakes. These are current mistakes.
Yeah.
These are things that she said 2 seconds ago. I told him that the only person she ever cared for was Mark and herself, and there was nothing he could say or do to make me change my mind. I told him that it was up to him whether to keep my number, but I would be blocking him and my mom everywhere, and I wouldn't be reaching out again. Then I hung up. Afterwards, I sent a long email with a link to my posts attached to my entire family, uninviting everyone except my aunt and uncle and my sisters to the wedding. I hadn't cried in a long time, but Jen held me while I cried after writing the email, and she assured me we would be okay.
Aww.
Jen, throughout all of this, I think the moral of the story is Jen is cool.
Yeah, Jen is a queen.
Jen is a queen. My sisters also reached out to me after reading the email. I apologized to Charlotte for not being able to continue reconciling like she wanted, but she told me it was okay, and it's not my fault I had to cut them off again. The response from my family has been pretty mixed. Some are angry I aired out family issues on public internet forum because, while others are pissed at my parents because they never knew it was this bad. The last person I talked to about everything was Mark. He asked if I was cutting him off too, and I told him I wasn't, but I wouldn't be going out of my way to reach out to him either. He didn't argue and just wished me the best with the wedding, and we haven't spoken since.
Okay.
This is such a testament to how crazy the parents are that Mark is coming out of this looking okay.
I totally forgot he like kind of started this.
Yeah, he started this.
And like proposed to his fiance.
Yeah, but he's like the least crazy in this story. I mean, besides OP and the sisters and Jen.
Yeah. But like,
Yeah, of the crazies in the story. Yeah.
Mama's all the way over here. Mark.
Yeah, Mark is like here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yikes.
Right now, Jen and I are looking for a new place to stay. The plan is to move closer to Jen's brother. He lives about 3 hours from where we are now, and Jen and I like the city he's in.
Nice.
I spoke to my boss about transferring, and Jen is looking into the option of working 100% remotely or possibly finding a new job.
Okay.
And once again, our venue's changed since the guest list is significantly smaller. My future brother-in-law is considering letting us use his lake house for our wedding. That's so sweet. It's nice that you'll have like a nice brother.
Yeah. Really.
Nice family member.
Yeah. New families work.
Yeah. I don't plan to post any more about this unless the sky falls. At least not until the wedding, because I want to move on with life. Please do. Please move on. You deserve it.
You really do.
But I'll try to answer any questions some of you might have. Thanks and happy holidays. Edit, it took a few days to post this, and I had to keep removing details before I could actually post it. If anything's unclear, I'll answer as many questions as I can. And there are 2 more relevant comments before we finally close out of this very sad saga. Number 1, your mom might try to figure out where you moved to. OP says, aha, I am already anticipating the aftermath of moving. She's going to follow us when we move because that's the kind of crazy she is. When she doesn't get her way, she becomes obsessive until she's forced to stop. I spoke with a lawyer friend of mine to see about possible restraining orders to stop her before she starts. And did mom read the comments? According to Sophie, she's read a lot of them and doesn't think Reddit strangers have the right to tell her she's a bad person. LOL. I don't think there's any amending left in me. Wish them the best, just as far from me and my family as possible.
As you should.
As you should.
Wow.
Wow. I'm glad that they went no contact.
Yeah. This is
yikes.
Insanity.
That was an insane story.
I hate that you have to go through all these measures in order to like stay safe.
Yeah.
And get away from your family.
Get away from your family who treats you horribly to protect your future wife.
I didn't realize how much stress this family gave him.
Yeah.
Until he said, it's easier to cut them off because they're less stressful.
Yeah.
Because it'd be less stressful.
If it's easier to cut your entire family off, then there's something wrong with that family.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something wrong with that family.
Yeah.
No.
100%.
Oh my God. I don't even have any like words.
What would you guys have done?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Because
Please.
I would have absolutely cut them off and like done my best to find a restraining order pronto.
100%.
Because none of this is okay.
Had to buy a new car?
Yeah, they literally stole his car. They coerced him into selling his car to his brother, but he didn't even get the money. He just had to hand the car over.
I also appreciate Mark being like, yeah, I know we got beef,
Yeah.
but this is as far as my beef will go.
Yeah.
While the mom's beef is like, keeps coming after him.
Snowballing. But hopefully there is a shorter and less tumultuous story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The next one. Yeah. No, it's not going to be long.
Let's get into this next story.
My brother stole my girlfriend and is trying to marry her. I want to destroy their wedding by any means necessary. Am I the a-hole? Bro just cannot win, you know what I mean? But I don't know if you should go that far. I don't know. Take the higher road. I, 39 male, have been a caretaker for my brother, Justin, 33 male, since he was 10 years old. I was only 16 years old when our parents passed away. Oh my God. I had to take care of the household because my brother was still very little. I did everything for him. He was the apple of my eye. I guess I spoiled him a lot. I never dated that much because I was the breadwinner for my brother. Please don't tell me this is going where I think it's gonna go. That is until I met Melissa, 35 female. It was almost 10 years ago. We dated for 2 years and it was great. My brother loved her. Maybe he loved her a little too much. One day, I was eavesdropping a conversation she was having with her friend. The gist of the conversation was something like her friend was asking about me. Melissa said that she loves me a lot. She loves that I take care of her in every way. Guys, I'm seeing the cracks start to unfold. Get ready for this. But I am pretty average when it comes to doing the nasty. Her friend asked her if she was going to talk to me about it or how is she happy. She told her that her fixture is my brother. Ah! Why do this? Can you pick anyone but the brother? Please. Please look at the 8 billion other people. She went on to explain how she and Justin have been having an affair for 8 months. She thinks it's justified because she thinks Justin is better in bed than I am. You can imagine how painful it was for me. I went inside the house pretending I didn't hear a thing. OP! I confronted Justin about it. I know how to get him to talk. I pressed this matter after he was denying it. He eventually broke down and said it was the truth. He didn't say anything because he didn't want to hurt me. He and Melissa are in love and want to get married, but Melissa won't leave me. Bro, okay, so Melissa is really messing up the game over here. Obviously, OP's brother should never have gone after her or let that happen. We don't know yet who initiated what. How could you do that to your own brother? God damn, guys, please take it easy. I was furious. I wanted to beat the crap out of him, but I just told him he is dead to me and left. I also kicked out Melissa, and she stayed with my brother and his roommates. My brother was banging on my door nonstop. I had to move in with a friend and told everyone to not disclose my location to my brothers. His calls and emails were all the same, that he was sorry and he never wanted to hurt me and he will break up with her. Okay, interesting. I stopped the bank account, something like a trust fund that I made for him that he can access when he was 25. He is not my brother anymore. As of right now, would you completely cut off the brother at this point? It is very, very arguably a unforgivable thing. But you know, I guess in fairness to OP literally like did so much, sacrificed at 16. I went into a deep depression. I didn't eat or sleep properly. I would have nightmares of my brother and my ex laughing at me that I suck in bed. Oh my God. That if I was good enough, she would have never left me. It got so bad that once I stood in front of a train track because it was too unbearable for me. Luckily, my friends saved me. I do not have much friends, but they were my rock. I stayed with them for a year. I went to therapy. I did group sessions. I had a lot of anxiety regarding intimacy, so I didn't date for a long time. My friend encouraged me to try. I did try once, but with a one-night stand, but it was bad for both of us. I still go to therapy to this day. Very good. I'm glad to hear that. But other aspects of my life have improved. I focused more on building new relationships with new people. I went to travel and explore more hobbies. I was living for myself. OP is at least taking this opportunity to be like, yo, why don't I do this for me? Which I completely applaud OP for doing. I am in a relationship with someone for 3 years now. Okay, we are engaged and we're having a kid together. Okay, let's go. Wendy, 32 female, is a really nice person. She knows all about my insecurities and problems that I faced because of my brother. She was mature and patient with me. I was able to trust someone enough to be in a relationship. 2 days ago, I got an invitation in my mail about the wedding. And as the title says, it was from my brother, the cheating brother, with his stolen girlfriend. He has kept tabs on me from afar and invited me to his wedding with none other than Melissa. Ye old ex, come back again to smite OP and destroy his poor life. Oh my God. Looking at their names, it doesn't hurt that much now. I feel numb. If it was 8 years ago, I would have had a meltdown. I still feel this pain that I cannot be happy for my brother's big day. My fiance suggests that we shouldn't go and just delete the invite. I think that OP is not obligated at all to go to the wedding. So I don't know that the brother deserves that. I don't know that Melissa freaking deserves that. I'm sure the brother wants to reconcile. It seems like he wanted to reconcile and also break up with her. Remember that? Remember when he was like, hey, I'll break up with her. Don't worry, bro. It's all good, bro. Now we have a comment I'm going to read. And then right after that, we got our big, old, juicy update from Scrumptious Nutsack. Nice. I wouldn't have been as strong as you, man. I am in shock and inner rage of the heartless people who hurt you. I could never imagine how horrible this must have made you feel. OP, there is nothing more I want than to watch them suffer. I have no love or blessing left for him. When my parents died, they told me to look after him. And then when we were adults, we will look after each other. He threw it all away. It doesn't hurt that Melissa cheated. It hurts more that my own brother has cheated me. Damn, boy. Yeah, that's tough, dude. I mean, he literally, as a teenager, you know, kind of your prime years of youth and exploring, he probably sacrificed a whole lot to him. But guys, we have a big fact update. Hello, guys. I was thinking about making an update soon. I know people on Reddit really like updates. Yeah, they do. But I delayed because I have a baby girl now. Hey, congrats, OP. Man, my man deserves one freaking good thing in his life. Am I right, y'all? When I posted this, my fiancée, now wife, was already 8.5 months pregnant. We had an early delivery. My baby girl, Emily, is so cute. She is a little bundle of joy for the both of us. She's so tiny and cute. She has eyes just like mine. I cannot believe we made something so precious. I spent as much time holding her as I could. My wife gets pissed because she thinks I'm going to coddle her to death. Also, my fiance and I got married pretty quickly. It was a court marriage. Neither of us wanted a big wedding anyways. We are all fine. Man, I'm so happy to hear that. You know, OP deserves a freaking W, bro. He's just been taking L's for years and years. And now the biggest L is coming back to haunt him of his brothers. I wonder if there is any sort of spark, any sort of inkling inside him that's like, this is my brother at the end of the day. And I want to try to reconnect with him. You know, I raised him. Both of them lost their parents. I guess OP's brother at an even younger age, which is probably even more traumatic than it was for OP, who had his own baggage to deal with, having his parents pass away at 16 and raising his little brother. Now, some of you asked me how my brother knew my address. Well, he didn't. He only knew my email, my work email. He probably knows what company I go to, so from there, he tracked down my email and sent an invitation. A few days ago, I got another email from my brother. I have forgot to block him. I usually don't check my work email because most of them are forwarded in Slack. My brother made a huge email. He basically told me he knows I will not come to his wedding, but still wanted me there for his big day. He apologized for what he has done and that he would never forgive himself for doing wrong. But he knew he shouldn't have slept with Melissa, but he did it anyways. Growing up, he had been jealous of me. He was jealous that I am the more capable brother who is just babysitting him. Damn, little backhanded compliment to yourself, my guy. When Melissa approached him, he felt like he had more importance. I see that he's trying. I don't know if that's the move. He felt like he had more importance. I mean, maybe he's just being honest. He knew he was wrong. He wanted to stop the day I said he was dead to me. He had a panic attack. He tried his best to contact me, but my friends refused to give up my location. He was begging them. He and Melissa split up for a while. He was desperate to find me. He hit rock bottom when he heard from a friend of his that I tried to unalive myself. Even his friends judged him harshly after what he has done. His friends saw me as a big brother too, so they all refused to be at his wedding with Melissa. Melissa and he reconciled 2 years ago. By that time, Melissa was a single mom. She feels guilty about what she has done because the father of her child has cheated on her and left her. There's this little mistress out there. Some call her Kay, you know what I mean? Some call her by her true full name. Karma. Come on now. Don't try to steal your partner's sibling and cheat on them and drive a wedge in the family. Don't do it. She also wanted to meet me and say sorry. From there, they rekindled their romance. Lastly, he said he cannot go through with the wedding? Wait, hold on. What's going on here? Let's see. I'm confused. He called it off and fought with Melissa and they broke up again. What? What is happening? Oh my God, bro. Honestly, at this point, I'm just like, can you just make up your mind? Like, if you're going to be with the person that destroyed the relationship with your brother, can't you just at least commit to that? Like, he wants me to be with him in his most important day. He knows I have disowned him, but he is willing to do anything to reconcile, even if it takes him his whole life. That's it. There was a bunch of whining stuff that I ignored. I deleted the email. My therapist said forgiveness isn't something that is forced. It comes from a subconscious level when we know we can forgive that person. And it should be an option only when someone shows that they are sorry by their actions and not by their words. Honestly, I don't want to. I know I'm being petty and cruel, but I am happy the way my life is. Adding him will cause stress. My wife told me to forget it. My brother is not guilty at all. As soon as I forgive him, he would go back to Melissa. Interesting. He needs to figure out his life on his own. I've babied him enough. Now it's his turn to be an adult. Edit. People are asking me about my brother's life, so I wanted to clear it out. I do not have any idea what he's doing with his life. I moved my place away further from him. I transferred my job too. He must have known my place of work from where he got my email. For 10 years of my life, I pretended he doesn't exist along with therapy. I treated him like he was someone dead. I don't know what went down with him and Melissa, but from his email, I can paint a picture that they broke up after dating for a few years. His friends were unhappy with him dating this woman, and they decided to drop the wedding because of Melissa. My brother told me he doesn't want to get married unless I am there to support him. That could be anyone. Doesn't have to be Melissa. Why Melissa came back, I don't know. Maybe she thought I would accept her like a doormat. What? But she knows me better than that. I am stubborn when it comes to holding a grudge. Damn right he is. My boy is sticking with his grudges. I didn't know I had an impact on his friends so much. They were good people who would hang out with us. They were younger and they treated me like their own brother. I did get apologies from 2 of his friends who never had a positive male role model after I blocked my brother. I don't have contact with them. Now there's 2 final comments closing us out here. Well, OP, your brother is facing the consequences for his actions harshly, but every choice we make has a price, and he should have known that when he was meeting your ex behind your back. I don't blame you at all. Melissa got what she deserved. Her ex cheating on her is karma for having slept with your brother. What did I say? You've done so much for him, and I think that if he truly regrets what he did to you, he'll get back on his own feet without asking for your help. Is he asking for his help? I wonder how he even had the audacity to invite you to the wedding with his now ex, knowing how much both of them hurt you. You were right for not attending. Forgiveness can't be forced. Whenever you think you're ready to forgive him, you will. If not, then not. I don't judge you for not forgiving him. OP's reply. If he truly regretted this, then he wouldn't have decided to marry Melissa. Low key, why did he go through with that? The woman who destroyed my life along with my brother. What did he think? I will forget all the pain and trauma that he caused me? Forgiveness doesn't set you free. It creates a different trap. Over the years, I have learned forgiveness is a tool made by cowards. I got some thoughts in the breakdown after this story, but you're going in pretty deep, OP. Over the years, I have learned forgiveness is a tool made by cowards who just want to get away with their wrongdoings without facing any consequences. They think having forgiveness removes the toll of guilt that they have. True forgiveness is never forced. It is earned. He has still done nothing to earn that. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, man, this was a crazy one. So we have OP, who raised his brother after his parents passed away. It seems from the context we have, gave him a pretty good life. Parenting him starting at 16, basically. Then the brother goes along and he either the ex, either Melissa or him decide to get together. Who knows who started it, but they did. They hooked up for a long time, had an affair. OP cut his brother out. And then they decided to get married all those years later. And then the marriage was off again. So, I mean, so many questions. Number 1, for OP's brother, why then go back to Melissa? And you broke up with her again, it seems, over your brother. So why did you ever go back to her the second time in the first place? Like, the affair was already like really, 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 really bad. It also wasn't just one time hooking up. This was like for 8 months. I am just completely confused. Why would you go back? Why would you decide to agree to get married to her? Oh my God. I think OP is harder on the brother than I would be personally. I mean, I would definitely be mad if my own freaking brother like stole my woman from me. Maybe there's some insecurities there as well. I mean, this whole thing sparked from Melissa not liking how OP was in the bedroom. So maybe there's some insecurity there on OP's side. He laid down the hammer pretty dang hard, I do have to say. So I have a few questions for you all down in the comments below. What would you have done if you were OP? How would you have handled the brother? Would you have instantly gone no contact? Would you have figured out a different plan? Would you have waited it out? Let me know what you think down below on that. I'm very curious to know, but I'm also curious to read y'all another story. Let's get into it.
Am I the a-hole for not accepting my sister's relationship with my ex despite her having cancer as a teenager? This is OKOP, home to the craziest true stories on earth. I'm Sophia. And Riley, under what circumstances would you be okay with your brother having a relationship with your ex?
If he's like gonna die tomorrow, I'm like, all right, you got one day, pal. You can spend it with her. And then
Yeah.
I'd be like, you'd rather spend it with her than me?
Than me, and then you would still be mad.
Yeah.
Well,
There's no winning.
Lost Papaya 9278 says, my 25 female father married my stepsister's 23 female mother when I was 4 and she was 3. So we have father and mother and their stepsisters. Sorry, I just needed to say that again. We've lived together most of our lives and are a family. She and I were extremely close.
All right, so basically sisters.
Yes. She developed cancer when she was 14 and was sick for about 2 years. She's since made a full recovery. During that time, my parents became understandably overprotective. They also asked a lot of me. I quit my extracurriculars so I could get a job. The money went towards her medical bills, and so I could drive her to appointments. I didn't go to dances, and any fun activities I did needed to include her. I did almost all of this willingly, the exception being having to quit my high school volleyball team. I did throw a bit of a tantrum about that, but was swiftly punished. And I think having one emotional breakdown was pretty chill given the circumstances. Anyhow, I go to college and meet my ex. We'll call him Ben. When I'm a junior. We fall in love, blah, blah, blah. He and I move in together when we graduate, so we've been living together for about 3 years. We were serious until July when I walked into my bedroom and saw him effing my sister.
Whoa.
Okay, that's not like a circumstance that you can be okay with. Yikes. I broke it off, tears were shed, he moved out, etc. My sister apologized at first, but then backed off. I thought she was giving me space, but last week she called and asked if we could meet up. She told me that she and Ben were in love and were just telling me as a courtesy before they started posting photos online. Not a sister. Distraught, I left her in the restaurant by herself and did not pay my portion of the bill. She later Venmo'd me asking for the money. You're taking her money and her man.
Oh my God.
She told my parents, who then called me to their house, telling me how disappointed in me they are for not supporting my sister's relationship with Ben. What about her relationship with Ben?
Do the parents know? I don't think
Yes.
they know. They know?
Okay, if she's dating Ben for 3 years and then he suddenly starts dating the sister,
3 years?
put the pieces together. They brought up the fact that because she had cancer as a teenager, she never learned proper social etiquette and has a hard time meeting people.
No.
I don't buy this, in part because I've seen her socialize just fine, and since we spent a good chunk of the time she was sick together, that would also mean that I should have bad social skills as well, by that logic. They then told me that if I don't accept my sister and Ben's relationship, they may have to go no contact with me. I reminded them that I'm also their daughter and they should understand my point of view, but they are adamant that this is about me being jealous of her.
Whoa, okay.
Okay, wait,
We gotta talk.
Whoa. That is insane.
This is insanity. Why are the parents taking her side?
I feel like they've become super overprotective of her.
Okay.
After, they had this whole ordeal and they let her get away with everything now. But also like, they just seem like really bad parents. Cause even like, I know it's really hard when like you're one of your child, like sick and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, you can't sacrifice your other child.
Your morals. Just because one's sick doesn't mean like their morals should be gone.
Yeah. Well, no, like even when she was sick, like it seems like they totally like, they were like to OP, they were like, you have to quit everything.
Yeah.
Like making her quit volleyball, like varsity volleyball.
That's so sad.
That's so sad.
Those are core memories.
Yeah, no, this is really sad. And then after the fact, even when she's better, they're like, she's allowed to cheat because she had cancer.
Why has Ben like this? Why is he all
Yeah,
like
Ben sucks.
Ben does suck. I hate this. 3 years?
3 years.
Oh.
And then she catches them cheating. And then her whole family is like, we're going to go no contact with you unless you're okay with this.
Oh, dude, I'm just imagining if my brother were to do this to me.
I literally would like
Oh my
never
God.
forgive. No, that's horrible.
Oh, keep going, please.
Okay.
God.
For the record, I'm not jealous of her. I'm not upset that Ben picked her over me. I'm sad about the end of the relationship and do feel betrayed, but Lord knows that I don't want to be with a cheater. What I'm upset about is the fact that my sister chose Ben over me, that she slept with Ben knowing he and I were in a long-term committed relationship and continues to be with him knowing how much it hurts me. Now, no one in my immediate family is talking to me, and I'm getting messages from my aunts and uncles and cousins telling me that I'm an a-hole and a selfish bee.
Whoa.
Your family sucks. Your family is horrible.
What?
That's wild.
Aunts and uncles?
That's wild. No one is taking your side. Everyone's against you.
They must not see the full picture. Ain't no way.
Even if they didn't, like, even if they weren't told specifically that, the sister and Ben cheated, just to look at the relationship, to be like, Ben and OP were together for 3 years, which presumably they would know.
Yeah.
And then within a week, Ben was dating OP's sister. And to be like, wow, OP, you're not allowed to have any feelings about this.
If they were twins, I'd be like, okay, maybe he got mixed up. Funny joke, Ben. But they're not.
Ben. No.
They're stepsisters.
That would be crazy. I feel like twins are usually pretty easy. There's always some way you can tell them apart. And if you're with someone for 3 years, you can't. But they're not twins, so it's moot point. Anyway, there's an edit.
Okay.
I hope this doesn't get worse. Thank you everyone so much for your comments. This has gotten more attention than I expected and I'm having trouble keeping up. So if I don't say thank you, then thank you. I've been given a lot of food for thought. TBH, while I had moments where I've been resentful or upset about my teenage years, I've always thought that I did the right thing for my sister and for my family. And that time wasn't all miserable. I was very close to my sister and we made things as fun as we could. But I didn't think of it as an abdication of my parents' responsibilities or that they were doing wrong by me, which many of you pointed out. I definitely have a lot to think about. Thank you again for making me feel less crazy about all this.
So she just thought that was her sister duty.
Yeah, she was like, I'm a sister. That's what I have to do.
Yeah.
Like she really, she stepped up and she apparently barely complained.
Yeah.
But that is not like a child's responsibility.
Oh,
Like that is 100% parents' responsibility.
that's so
Do all
sad.
that. Yeah, no, this is very sad. But there is an update. There's an update. There's another update.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So before we really dive into our thoughts and feelings.
Everything gets better.
Update. Sometimes you can only laugh. Just got off the phone with my cousin who saw this post and said he could explain a few things. I asked him why he was on Reddit instead of school. He asked me why I was on Reddit instead of work. And I said, touche. I love that. He told me that after my conversation with my mom, she went to his house and talked to my aunt. And here's the deal. Oh, turns out my sister is not only in a relationship with Ben, but 4 months pregnant.
What?
Which means she and Ben were effing for longer than I ever guessed.
Oh.
The sister sucks.
Whoa,
Oh my God.
whoa. I think they've been together for like 6 months.
They got like,
have to be.
okay, yeah, because 4 months pregnant.
Yeah.
They've got
Minimum 4 months. If Ben's a shooter,
yeah.
then 4 months.
But like, it's got to be at the least 6 months.
Yikes.
So for into the 2.5 year mark of their relationship, maybe 2 to 2.5 year of their relationship, that's when he started cheating.
Oh.
I hate you, Ben. Apparently, my parents are so adamant that I forgive her because I'm already ruining their experience of their first grandchild. That's right, I'm less important than my stepmom posting ultrasounds to Facebook. This is where we're at.
Oh my god.
This sounds like an evil stepmom story, honestly. Anyhow, I call out of work sick the rest of the day and I'm going to drink a lot of alcohol, like a lot of alcohol, and then start thinking about what the F I'm going to do. And there is another update.
Oh, dude, that is horrifying. But wait. The cousin?
So one of the cousins saw OP's Reddit post and was like, hey, I got more dish.
But this does not give even more. This is worse.
No, that's worse. That makes the whole thing so much worse. And the fact that the family is like just letting OP's sister get away with it is wild.
Dang. And then Ben be doing that with no rubber? That's wild. Ben's wild, dude.
Ben's crazy. Ben's cheating, which also is so, it's just like just cheating is obviously horrible,
Yeah.
but just like having unprotected while also cheating.
Wild.
Like you're like, just break up with your partner. Don't expose them to like STDs. Jesus.
Yeah, dude. She already got cancer.
Like, you're like one sister already had cancer. Don't give the other sister an STD. Come on. But there is an update probably about how horrible Ben is. OP clarifies 2 things before the update. 1, I didn't have a childhood. The favoritism started when my sister was diagnosed. I moved out soon after and have been pretty independent since then. Not saying that how my parents treated me during those years was a-okay, but I wasn't Cinderella. And 2, I didn't drink myself into oblivion. I had 2 white wine spritzers, but I appreciate the concern from folks.
Nice. Okay, so
But there's an update.
that's good to know about the favoritism because I thought it was like her whole childhood.
No,
but it just looks
it's
like
just when her sister was diagnosed.
Yeah, I want to say like maybe like 16, 17 because it looks like she moved out right after.
When she was diagnosed?
Yeah, because it's like I moved out after and have been pretty independent. So
she developed cancer when she was 14 and OP is 2 years older. So she was 16 at the time.
Called it.
Nice job. All right, let's get into the update. I got in touch with my sister and asked her to meet up again at a park. No bill involved. Wait, I thought his name was Ben.
No, Bill, because they were at a restaurant. She didn't pay.
Oh.
She Venmo requested her.
Yeah.
Requested.
I asked her if she was pregnant and she told me the truth. She said she wanted us to still be in each other's lives and that she wanted me to be in her babies. A Redditor, and I forget who, I'm sorry, mentioned that she may ask me to be the godmother. And that person was correct.
Dang.
The audacity.
He called it. He should put money on that.
But as many of you pointed out, if I didn't cut her off, I'd just become her bank and daycare employee. So I told her I could no longer be in her life. And I left her crying on a park bench and felt like the person in the world.
That you kind of have to though.
No, OP. Like that's not your fault at all.
It's not your fault. And
she like was horrible to you.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Because you will become her bank and daycare.
Yeah.
That's
oh my God, there's more. I emailed my parents and told them how betrayed I felt, that I'd be cutting off contact with them. To my stepmom's credit, she apologized. Too little, too late. She explained that she never thought my sister would live to have kids and that she let her emotion over that get the better of her. Understandable. My dad said nothing, which is honestly what sucked the worst about all of this. Ben tried messaging me from a burner account for the first time since the breakup, but I blocked him without reading it. I didn't go nuclear and post the story to Facebook as some suggested, but I sent an email to the extended family members who I care about. I explained the situation and how I'd be distancing myself from my family. Some have made it an us versus them situation, and as much as I appreciate the support, feeling like I'm in some valiant battle just makes me more tired. So I haven't been talking too much to anyone in my family. I feel lonely and crappy, but I think I made the right decision. Anyhow, not the most exciting update in the world, but hopefully everyone knows that I'm not dead. I do really appreciate the support I've gotten. It made me smile during a really time. And hey, if anyone in the greater Boston area wants an extra guest at Thanksgiving, let me know.
in Boston.
Boston. I love Boston. That's a separate thing. Wow. OP seems like so nice. And I feel so bad for them because they're like, I feel horrible about treating my sister. When like her sister showed that she did not give a hoot.
A
flying hoot about OP, which is wild. But there
That's
is
so
another update.
careless. I hate
There's
that.
another update.
Like everyone in her family, like
Was sided
the
against
sister,
her.
the mom, and the dad. The fact that the dad said nothing.
The dad said nothing
That's
drives
your
me
biological
wild.
father?
Yeah. And like doesn't stick up for you at all? Come on.
That's
Come
so
on.
sad.
No, it's like, oh my God. But like honestly, even just the stepmom has been in her life since she was like 4 years old. And to just completely be like, we're going no contact. Just to have that as a threat.
As an option,
As
even.
an option? Come on. There's one more. Maybe there's more updates. There's two more updates.
Three.
3 more updates.
4.
What? Okay, we're getting through this. Number 1, I'm spending Thanksgiving with a friend and her family, so I won't be alone. Thanks to everyone who offered to host me. It was so sweet.
Aw.
That's good. Number 2, I'm still not in touch with my family, but I know that Ben and my sister are having problems. I know this because he showed up at my place and cried for 3 hours.
Oh.
You suck, Ben. Number 3, I'm going to go to New Mexico in April. Planning is underway. Happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate. And there is a longer update, but Ben is the worst. I was wondering if he would like come crawling back to her.
Yeah.
Because he like, I feel like if you cheat, you're to keep cheating.
So like, wait, he went back and cried for 3 hours?
Yeah, he went back to OP and cried to her about his problems with her sister that he cheated on her with.
Why would she sit there and listen to that?
I don't know.
Or did they? I thought it was like they lived together.
No.
And she heard him in the other room crying for 3 hours.
No, I think he just like showed up at her door crying. Wild. The audacity. This is just a story about audacity. Okay, so the update continues. Ben and the stepsister are now expecting a baby within the next 6 weeks. Since I found out about the pregnancy, he's tried to get in touch with me 6 times through email, text, burner accounts, has tried to get mutual friends to talk to me for him, and showed up to my place once. The latter was the only time I humored him. He told me he was sorry, he loves me, he doesn't want to be with my stepsister, and wants to get back together with me. I told him tough titties.
Whoa.
Hell yeah. He made his bed and now he's got to lay in it with her. I feel like, yeah, really quick, I feel like he got the stepsister pregnant and now he's like, oh my God, I'm not ready to be the father. I got to go back to this other relationship. That's my interpretation. I haven't dated much since July because of my life's implosion, but in November, a friend from college messaged me out of the blue. We hadn't talked in a long time. He, 27 male, referred to as X2 for the rest of the post, and X1 were good friends, but had a falling out over something fantasy football related the year after we graduated, and I stopped talking to him out of solidarity or whatever. Anyhow, we go on a date. We click, we go on a few more dates, we become exclusive in early December. I was feeling really hopeful about this until this morning.
Ooh.
I was supposed to meet X2 at a New Year's party last night. He got there before I left the house and texted me saying that X1 was at the party and asked whether I still wanted to come. I declined and went to another friend's house and had a pretty good time. I tried calling X2 at midnight, but he didn't pick up. I didn't think much about it. Anyhow, I go to bed late, and when I wake up this morning, I have a message from X2 saying we're done.
Ooh.
I couldn't even respond because he'd blocked me everywhere. I talked to a friend who was at the party the exes were at last night, and he said the two of them had spent a good chunk of time chatting with each other, but he didn't know what they were talking about. I'm not close with anyone else who was at the party, so I don't really have anyone else to ask. Like, okay, it was a 2-month-old relationship. I'm sad, but I'm not bereft. But the paranoid part of my mind is really concerned that X1 said something that resulted in X2 becoming X2. X2 has made it abundantly apparent that he doesn't want to talk to me again, and I don't want to push that boundary, but I'm so confused. I could contact X1, but I get the feeling that we'll open a floodgate of drama. I could also try talking to other mutual friends to see if they've heard about anything, but I also don't really want to spread this as a rumor if it wasn't true. I don't know. I'm at a loss. Any advice here? I'm spiraling thinking that my ex is going to try to ruin every relationship I have for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Oh my God.
What do you think he said?
I think he was like, she was so jealous when like I broke up with her. And she was crazy and she like ruined her relationship with like her family. I think he said like something along those lines. But like, oh my God, she can't catch a break.
Yeah, she really can't.
The fact that this story is going in a new, like there's more, like a completely different part of the story. Like this is book 2. We just read book 1 and now we're on to the sequel.
The sequel. I thought that X2 was with her sister.
No.
At
X1.
the party. That's what I was like hoping what was going to happen.
No,
Not hoping,
because
but
I feel
thinking.
like he heard something, like X1 told him something.
But like, what could he have said?
I don't know.
And why would X2 like
not even talk to
just block her like that?
Like that's crazy.
But they were good friends in the past.
But also, it's kind of wild to if X1 did tell X2 something and X2 believed it, it's kind of wild to believe it after, breaking up a friendship over fantasy football.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a good relationship if that like sent them over the edge.
And then also another thing, their relationship, that X2 went to a different party than OP.
That's also weird. I was thinking that like she was like, hey, like I'm not really comfortable going to that party. And he wasn't like, let's go to another one. Let's do something together.
Yeah. Let me follow you to the other party.
Yeah. Like obviously get permission from maybe the friend didn't say, invite other people, but they could have worked something out. There is another update.
Oh,
this
boy.
story keeps going. My last 2 partners have cheated on me. Wait, what? Is this just summarizing? What? The first was a very serious relationship. We lived together. We talked about marriage and buying a house. He even took 2 pictures of us as kids and photoshopped them together to show what our kids might look like one day. The result was terrifying, but hilarious. I had it as the background on my phone for a month. I thought he was going to say, he even took 2 pictures of me. And then a few months ago, another guy came into my life, and for the first time in ages, I felt hopeful. I thought to myself that maybe I could actually move on and live my life. I wasn't in love with him, but he was the kind of man I thought I could fall in love with. We were exclusive for about a month. Before we made the decision to be exclusive, I told him everything that had happened with my first ex and told him that I could never be with another cheater. I wake up on New Year's Day to a text saying, we're done. And when I tried getting in touch, I found out he blocked me everywhere.
Okay, real quick.
Yes.
OP did tell the guy she was with X2 everything.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
And so he knows, presumably. Or maybe he was, he told him everything. Turns out he met someone at a New Year's party and he hooked up with her. Instead of telling me, he just blocked me everywhere and sent a lackey? And sent a lackey to message me a few weeks later with the real story and a half-assed apology.
Oh, it was a sister.
I want to be angry, and maybe a part of me is, but as I'm sitting here, I'm just thinking, what if it's me? What if I'm just not lovable? What if it's never gonna happen for me?
No.
You deserve so much better, OP.
There was a circle of people, and you've been around that circle of people that knew each other from long ago.
You just need to go. Yeah, you need to find someone who does not know your first ex. You need to.
He's a cancer.
Metaphorically. Do we have another word for that? He is a plague.
He's a plague. He is a disease. He spreads disease.
No.
This
is
horrible.
Working. He's horrible.
Yeah. Everyone he touches gets horrible.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
The thing is, I've been a pretty confident person. I went through BS as a kid, but I got through it and grew stronger. I'm pretty good looking, though I've admittedly put on a little weight in the past couple weeks. I've been told that I'm fun, I hold down a good job and make decent money. I also live my life according to my values. I've always put my family and my partner first because that's just how I believe it should be done. And I thought that I would be prioritized in return. I've lost most of my family because they'd rather have my stepsister's baby in their life than me. My friends have been fair weather for the most part, and I know that I'm a laughing stock in my friend group, as much as they pretend to pity me to my face. I feel the little spark I've always had fading. I don't chime in on conversations anymore. I've stopped putting on cute clothes when I go out. I don't plan anything, so I don't have anything to be disappointed about. Soon I'll be the same age as my mom when she died.
Oh.
I never knew her, but I've always loved her, thinking of her watching over me. I don't remember the funeral, but it was one of those funerals when there wasn't a dry eye in the house. She lit up a room, people tell me. She was a good woman. In my worst moments, I wonder what it would be like if I died right now. This is so sad.
Oh my gosh.
Would anyone cry? Would anyone care? Would anyone even come? Anyhow, sorry for writing a novella, just not sure what to do anymore and who to talk to. If you read all this, thank you. There's another update.
I just found another update because she said she made decent money.
I
was
swear
good
to God,
looking.
if this doesn't get happier, I'm gonna be sad all day.
All day? We got a big day ahead of us.
I know, I'm gonna be sad all day.
Oof.
I don't even have anything to say about that. I don't have any thoughts because that's just so sad. You don't deserve this.
You don't. Find new friends.
Find new friends. Find a new circle. I'm gonna go to the update because I really want something good to happen. Hey folks, I thought that things on the internet died after a couple days, so color me surprised when I'm still getting requests for updates on the regular. Long story short, I don't have much to update. I didn't end up going to New Mexico because I conveniently got COVID the week before I was supposed to go.
Oh, no.
The baby was had, but I have had no contact with the baby or their parents. I've done a pretty good job of insulating myself from news about them / the rest of my family. My life is pretty much the same as it was. So sorry to the folks who are hoping I've had some kind of happy ending to slap onto all of this. Things are improving just because time barrels on and you can grow numb to most anything given enough time and distance. But I have had no grand revelations, have not met the love of my life, nor had elaborate revenge on those who have wronged me. I'm going to Europe for the first time in October though, so that's exciting.
Good.
That is exciting.
Get out of this country.
Leave the country, go on a trip, stay for a year. I will say this, while I appreciate the solidarity and sometimes colorful language to describe my sister and Ben in my DMs, I wholeheartedly ask everyone reading this not to waste their energy on hating them. They're now parents to a newborn, and regardless of the things they've done in the past, I hope that they can come together as a happy family and raise their child in a loving, healthy home. Hating them doesn't do anything for anyone, including ourselves in the long run.
Why is she so nice?
Stop! You're so nice. You're so nice, OP. Anyhow, that's the non-update update. I promise that if I meet the love of my life at the top of the Eiffel Tower or more likely stuffing my face with waffles in Bruges, I had waffles in Bruges. They were delicious. I will post another update. Until then, you can assume that I am living, trying my best, and I'm very appreciative of all the people out there in the world who have read this saga and reached out with the support, even if I have not had the energy to respond to everyone. Update in the comments. Hi, just wanted to give a more recent, less depressing update. I'm currently in my hotel room in Paris, eating a creme brulee in bed, reading a romance novel, and about to go to sleep early. All is well.
Aw.
And there's another update, but I'm really glad that there's a little bit of happy news.
That's good.
Eating a creme brulee in bed, reading a romance novel, that's
In
life.
Paris?
In Paris? I hope there's like a view of the Eiffel Tower.
I hope so too. She needs that. She just needed to get out of the country.
Yeah. Leave everything behind. Find yourself.
But I scoured the internet.
You scoured.
And I found a new update.
I like this OP because she gives us everything that we want. This is presumably it says 5 months, so I'm assuming 5 months later.
Ago.
5 months ago
today.
5 months ago today. Hello. So it's been a minute, but I still get messages from folks asking how I've been, and I'm up too early and a little bit bored, so I thought I'd give you the answer. I'm good.
Yay!
Woo! I was rooting for you. Made a lot of really positive changes in my life, and I am in a much better place physically and mentally than I was last year. To answer some specific questions. No, I'm not in contact with my family. The last straw was in spring 2022. My dad emailed me to ask if we could get lunch and talk. Me, having always harbored the secret and foolish hope that we'd reconcile and go back to normal, agreed. I arrived at the restaurant and waited 2 hours. When my server gave me a free dessert on the house with a pitying look, I called it and went home. Later, I got an email from my stepmom, which I'm sure was full of excuses, but I didn't read it.
Dang.
Her dad stood her up? Her dad?
That's horrible.
Your family sucks. I'm glad that you're I'm not glad that you're no contact with them, but I'm like, it is a good decision to be no contact with these. Like, they suck. Your dad sucks. I'm so angry. This is a roller coaster of emotions. I was like really sad and I'm furious. But the real positive outcome of that was that made me realize that I needed to move far away and not come back, which I did. I'd always been really scared to move away from my family, but since I don't have one anymore, I ended up somewhat spontaneously moving halfway across the country.
Yay.
The spontaneous move was stressful and expensive, but I can now say that moving was one of the best decisions of my life. I ended up reconnecting with an old friend and falling in with her friend group, who are the loveliest people. I have never felt safer or more supported, and I feel so lucky to have them in my life. And it's less humid here. That's a big win.
She's on the West Coast.
One of her friends is a counselor who helped me find a therapist that I really click with. And it took a few tries and a therapist who didn't immediately want to do CBT with me. What is CBT? I know it, but I don't know
I think it's weed.
Oh, I
could be wrong. I feel the comments
CBD.
right now.
That's CBD.
I feel the comments right now
saying CBD.
It's being like, Riley, you're such an effing idiot. I hate you.
No, don't be mean.
Cognitive behavioral therapy.
Got you. Okay.
It's like, I thought it was the one where they showed you images.
Like, what does this look like? A cheating boyfriend.
Here we go.
What are you looking at?
A graph.
A graph. Why was that like a Christopher Walken impression? A graph. I can't do a Christopher
I don't
Walken.
even know who that is.
The guy, he's like, I'm Christopher Walken.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I know that guy.
My really bad impression helps you get there. Behave. Oh, I didn't see it, but it doesn't matter.
I like graphs.
Who didn't immediately want to do CBT with me, which just isn't my thing, but I found someone I really connect with. I'm now doing IFS therapy.
Wait,
Therapy terms.
these acronyms. We can't say anything because we're also an acronym.
Yeah, we do.
The goal of IFS therapy is to help people identify and accept the different parts of themselves and heal the parts that are wounded.
Oh, what does IFS stand for, though?
Internal family systems.
Interesting.
Wait, we need a graph.
We
Here's a
need a
graph.
graph. Can't go anywhere without a graph.
Sorry guys, I don't have the graphs for you, but just like look up the graphs.
Just look up the graphs.
They're
Internal
just-
family systems therapy.
If you're in your car, pull over right now and
Pull
look
over
at
right
it.
now. Look it up.
Pull up a graph.
Or don't.
Be spontaneous. Pull over.
No pressure. Okay.
Pressure.
Anyway, I'm now doing IFS therapy, and it has really changed my relationship with myself and helped me realize all of the hurt and pain I've been holding on to and start to heal. So y'all were right, and I needed to go to therapy.
Good for her.
Yes, that is good. Give yourselves a pat on the back for that one. I also got diagnosed with depression, and I'm taking medicine for that. It was a bit hard to stomach as someone who always saw her value as being the happy person who takes care of everyone all the time. But it turns out that sometimes when your needs aren't met as a kid, you end up becoming the happy person who takes care of everyone all the time. That if you show the slightest bit of unhappiness, you won't be loved anymore, and that's effed up.
Aw.
It is. That's why a lot of comedians are very sad. Like they're very funny. Like Robin Williams is like amazing, person, but obviously had like a very sad or was dealing with a lot of sadness. That's just a side note.
Wow. I wanted to be a comedian.
You do have a lot of sadness.
I guess I do. Recently.
Recently, you have a lot of sadness.
I do have a lot of sadness recently.
Anyway. Oh, I also met a guy.
Another one.
A better one, I hope.
Third time's the charm.
Third time. Yeah, that's what they say. They said 3 times and then you get there. And I know you're all saying, papaya, no. Oh, I think that's the
Username, yeah.
Papaya, no. Your decision making around men cannot be trusted. But I assure you that he's different. Instead of rolling his eyes when I'm feeling off, he'll either just quietly lay on the couch with me or go for a walk. He'll say really dirty things to me in his spot on Kermit the Frog voice until I'm laughing so hard I can't focus on anything else. And bonus, he's far too busy painting D&D minis to find the time to cheat on me. So I'm not even worried about that. I did have to invest in a somewhat elaborate Renaissance fair costume, which is not something I had imagined for myself, but I'm having a great time. I'm going to marry this dude someday.
That is adorable.
I love this. That's what I want. I want someone to paint D&D minis and play D&D with me. That's my dream. And go to Renaissance. I've never been to a Renaissance fair.
You've never been LARPing?
No. Okay, well we'll get into that.
I have a friend back home you should meet then.
Okay. We'll talk about it after this.
He's like 6.
He's 6 years old. As for Ben and my sister, as far as I know, they're still together. Every so often she tries to get in touch with some manner of burner account, but I ignore all of it. I'm still bummed that I'm not going to be part of my nibbling's life, and I do honestly still really miss my family. Oh, nibbling as in the...
Nemesis sibling.
No. Sibling child. It's like the gender neutral version of niece and nephew.
Nibbling? Someone comment the correct term for this. That doesn't sound like you're
nibbling.
biting a sibling.
Yeah, but that is the term that is the current thing. And I do honestly still really miss my family, but I know this is right for me. Sorry, I don't have any salacious info on them, since I know you're all really here to hear about their karmic downfall or whatever. But on my end, things are good. Better than they were before I found out I was being cheated on. My current life is built on real contentment, not fear disguised as shallow happiness. It's not perfect, and I have a lot of problems that I'm working through, but I'm proud of myself, and I think my mom would be too.
Oh,
So that's the update. I think it's going to be the last one. Thanks, Reddit, for supporting me and making me smile through some of the worst, weirdest points in my life. May you too be blessed with internet strangers who cheer you on and offer to sabotage the lives of people who do you wrong. Yay!
That's so beautiful.
Oh my God. We had to get through. How many words was that?
a lot.
That was 3,300.
No, more.
More? Oh, because you added stuff.
4,300.
4,300 words to get to a happy ending. And I'm glad we stuck it.
Me too.
Because, yeah.
Oh my gosh. The amount of ups and downs. I really hope she's doing all right.
I hope so. It seems like she is, but I hope she is.
And I think like, because earlier she was like, why is this always happening to me? I'm a bad person. The fact that she's in this place now where she still knows she has problems and things to deal with, but
Yeah.
she's proud of herself.
Yeah.
That is a amazing
So
place
good.
to be at.
Yeah, like I'm in therapy, I'm feeling better, and I've got work to do. Chef's kiss.
Wow. Full circle. And the fact that she holds really no resentment towards her family. She knows that
Crazy.
they did her wrong, but she's like, you know what? I'm not gonna burn their house down.
Literally high road.
Wow.
Like took the high road.
And like went across the country. Dude, going across the country really does something to a person. Really does.
You came across the country and you're like, I've got a whole new life.
I really do. Like me
No, I mean, I think it does change.
3 months ago was very different from me now.
I think also when you have a completely different group of friends, because your friends, there's like this whole thing about like your friends.
Show me your 5 friends and
Yes.
I'll show you who you are.
Yeah. Your 5 friends like establish who you are as a person, and I think that's super true. Because I think I am different around different groups of friends.
Wonder if we're each other's 5 friends.
I think you have to be. I see you every day now.
That is true.
I think
We've-
you're like one of the people I see the most now.
Same.
Yeah.
We influence each other.
Yeah.
Huh.
My brother is disabled and gets more attention, so I bullied him his entire life. Was I wrong to do this? Am I the a-hole?
Does he deserve it?
I know this will get a lot of hate, and yes, I deserve it. I know I'm not looking for any validation or forgiveness. I know I am a piece of human trash. I just need to get this out.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all? I have a brother who is 2 years older than me. He has suffered from a condition since birth that forces him to be in a wheelchair anytime he is out of bed. He cannot use his arms that well either. We used to have a great relationship until I turned 11, and I really started resenting the amount of attention he took from my parents and how much stress he put them under. I had to constantly help him, change him, feed him, and I hated it.
Oh, geez.
There were a few years in his life when he was so mean to my parents, and it really made me resent him more. I realize now that I had no right to judge him, and I will never know how difficult life is for him. I stopped hanging out with him and made more friends at school. I would tell my family all the fun I was having at school during dinner to make him feel bad.
Really?
Man, I started barely talking to him or acknowledging his presence. He would get frustrated to the point of tears to get my attention. It started escalating 2 years ago when I would purposely turn off the Wi-Fi and unplug the TV every time we had to leave the house so my brother could do nothing but sit in his wheelchair.
This is really
Yeah. I would purposely delete his favorite saved shows on the DVR. I would make fun of his speech, push things just out of his reach. I would act disgusted when I had to change or bathe him. It always made him feel bad and he would apologize. I made my own brother apologize for taking a dump. What the F is wrong with me? But my effing saint of a brother never told my parents, and he never let me have it. 3 weeks ago, he was trying to talk to me nonstop, and I was just ignoring him. I got annoyed and wheeled him against his wishes to the backyard and placed him under an umbrella and went back inside. I fell asleep and realized I left him out there for 3 hours.
OP, dude. You're kind of up, dude.
Yeah. When I went back to bring him inside, he was in tears and wouldn't look at me. He was humiliated. I've always felt guilty about how I treated my brother all these years, but my anger towards him overpowered it. But seeing that look on his face affected me in a way that was different from before. I stopped all the bullying after that day. I couldn't look him in the face. I was so ashamed. Last Sunday, my brother told me he was glad I was his brother and friend. I couldn't even respond. I went to my room and cried. I'm effing crying again, typing all of this out. When did I become an evil trash human being? I'm 17 and he's 19 now. I know there's nothing I can do to make up for the past 6 years. My brother will be returning with my mom from a specialist appointment tonight. I'm going to apologize to him and beg him for his forgiveness tonight. I want to start being an effing decent brother to him again. I am a healthy guy with no issues who chose to bully his only brother for something that wasn't his fault. I am so ashamed of myself. There is an update.
Man, I think what's crazy is like his brother actually is like still loves and calls him a friend.
Yeah, Opie's brothers really got a big heart.
Let's get into this update.
We do have an update. Let's get into it. A lot of people are asking for an update. Here it is. I wrote a long ass apology letter that I wanted to read to my brother. I waited until he got home and got into bed for the night. I knocked on his door and he was so effing excited that it was me. I couldn't even get through the first few words. I started crying and saying I wanted to say I'm really sorry and I just couldn't get through it. I just got into bed with him, laid down next to him. He hugged me really tight and said, I missed you, buddy. I'm getting a little emotional. This is a hard one. I effing lost it. I never cried that bad before. He just hugged me for a long time until I calmed down. We didn't talk much. He started to cry for a bit too. It was the first time in a long time that we just hugged. After about half an hour, I got up, gave him a kiss, and he told me he was so happy. Why didn't I do this earlier? I thought I could try apologizing properly again tomorrow. I left him the note to read anyways. I'm feeling hopeful right now and a lot of pressure in my heart is gone. I swear to God and on my own life, I will never treat my brother so badly again. I've been working part-time for the past year and I was saving up money so my brother and my mom could go on a trip to a place he really wanted to go to. But I think that I will take my brother myself instead when I turn 18. I also realized that I need to have a relationship with my brother where I'm not just taking care of him. It needs to be more like a brother relationship, like going out for movies and stuff like that. It's going to take some time for me to fix the mess I created though. I'm just lucky that my brother is amazing.
Wow.
I've received a lot of messages. I appreciate everyone for their input and I did read them all even if I didn't reply. Thanks, everyone.
Wow.
Man.
I mean, OP turned it around.
OP did turn it around. His brother is a saint. I think they are getting off on a better foot, mending the relationship. And biggest and most importantly, I think the brother is receiving and feeling the love.
Well, OP, I think you are turning away from your Polish ways.
That's right.
But let's get into this next story.
Let's do it.
My sister has cancer and I couldn't care less because I think she deserves it. And I told her so. Am I the asshole? Me, 27 male, and my sister, Ava, 31, have never gotten along for a number of reasons. One, I was adopted at age 8 and she still only addressed our parents as her parents. And she calls me a family friend, not her brother, when introducing me to people.
A family friend?
2, I was overweight for most of my childhood and she used to bully me over it a lot. 3, I have a stereotypical girl name. I was named after my birth mom. For the sake of the post, think Kelly or Anna, something boring and basic, but unmistakably girly. And she continues to this day to bully me over it. 4, she outed me as gay to our entire high school in the school paper.
Oh, in the
5,
school paper?
She says I ruined her life because I encouraged her parents to foster our other 2 siblings. And 6, she once locked me out of the house for 3 days while my parents were out of town. I was 13 and had to stay at a neighbor's house because she wouldn't open the door even when my parents called and told her to.
All right, this chick ain't looking so great.
There are many more examples of her being awful, but these are the ones that came to mind first. Last week, Ava called me, my siblings, and my parents and asked us to come over for lunch. Me and my siblings had to stop and pick up food on the way over to her house. She won't cook for us, only for her parents. So we drove together. If anyone deserves cancer, it's this person.
Oh, Jesus.
When we got there, our parents were already there in the kitchen crying. I asked what happened, and Ava told us she had cancer and she wanted our support. But she won't cook for you? I said, I'm sorry about that, because I really didn't know what else to say. Ava and my parents got upset, and we all basically got into a screaming match. I told her that she shouldn't be surprised that karma finally found her. Ava asked what I meant, and I told her bad things happen to bad people. She started sobbing, and I walked right out the front door. My parents have been calling me to say that I was an asshole, and my siblings are mad that I drove away without them, but they agree that Ava is awful. I'm starting to feel kind of bad because I know how horrible cancer is, and I know no one deserves to go through that. So, am I the asshole?
Yikes.
John, slam dunk it in. What do you think?
I know you don't like her. I know that she's mistreated you your whole life. That is not what you say to someone when they get diagnosed with cancer. Like, it's just...
Say it at their gravestone.
Say it at the gravestone.
I don't know, but what do you think? Is OP the a-hole? Put your answers in the comments below, but let's get into this next one.
More sadness, maybe? We're about to see. My demonic sister is sick, and my parents want me to donate my bones and organs for her transplant. I refused. Am I the a-hole? This story actually comes from our subreddit, r/OKOP show. We are going to be reading a lot more stories actually submitted from fans. Big shout out to Diligent Minimum 8397 for submitting this one. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
To keep it simple, I have never had the best relationship with my older sister. She was downright demonic and cruel when we were kids, and being our parents' golden child just made things worse for me. Whenever she needed help with something, it became a priority over anything. For example, she would learn competitive dancing, and I would be forced to learn male roles to help her. Had a science experiment for school, I would be the lab rat for it no matter what it was.
What? How effective is cyanide on the human body?
Let's find out. If she did something cruel, either our parents would not believe me or I was too scared of her to say anything. If you want a story, I can post. Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, please submit it to r/OKOP show.
And this pretty much was the norm for my life, including her making my friends her friends and then have them never talk to me again. Fast forward, we're now in our mid-20s and our mother calls me very worried. She tells me it's that my sister tested positive for a rare genetic disease and she's in the ICU and that I should be tested. Of course, I was like, yes, of course, I want to make sure I don't have this. But she didn't respond to that and just said that I should come back home and get the tests done. Something didn't sit right and I asked what she wanted tested. She wanted me to be tested to make sure I was a perfect match for organ, blood, and bone marrow transplants for my sister.
Bro, they're taking everything from this man.
I was shocked and horrified that instead of worrying both of her children don't have this, I was just convenient for this. I told her, no, I wouldn't do that. This turned into several weeks of fighting, guilt tripping, and threats. After a point, both call and flat out say, are you really just gonna let your sister die when you can save her? I was silent for a moment and then I replied, I'm not spare parts for your child. I am tired of always being used for her all my life and have her treat me like shit. My answer is no.
Oh.
Laying it down. Well, she only needed a bone marrow transplant or donation, but was able to recover after intense treatment. But her attitude towards me changed. I just assumed it was because she almost died. Nope. Our parents lied and told her that I was going to drop everything and come to do whatever it took to help her. So this mixed in with close friends reminding her that she was a terrible sibling to me was a wake-up call. Now my parents expect me to keep the secret till everyone is dead to keep my sister happy because it would really betray her feelings if she knew the truth. It's been a few years and she's back to being her rotten self, and when she starts up, I just remember this lie and see it as a red button just wanting to be pushed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, it's like even after the sister thinks OP has done all that stuff for her, she still is an asshole only a few years later. Near death won't stop an asshole from being an asshole. What boils your blood? Put your answers in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.
Love ya.